What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Thursday. DK Show up on the air on your radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online, sportstalk1051.com. You got your Google and Alexa home devices. Sports Talk app, download it, take it on the go. Video streams also up and rolling this morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Appreciate you making us a part of your start on this Thursday morning. What do we got for a good old game plan coming at you? Well, we're going to talk some Brewers. Brewers picking up another series win yesterday afternoon, although it got a little sketchy there in the final inning, in the ninth inning there. Brewers ultimately holding on to a 5-4 victory. Come from behind victory too for the Crew, originally down 1-0. Brewers manufacturing some runs, all in the sixth inning, thanks to air double steal and home run from Willie Adames. So after the Blue Jays put up one in the top of the first, Brewers were able to put that 5 spot up in the bottom of 6, but Blue Jays making it really difficult and making things kind of nerve-wracking for the Brewers and the Brewers fans out there, putting up 3 in the ninth and having the tying run on third base, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up at the plate. But Brewers holding on, and Tobias Myers putting together another solid start. 6 innings, 3 hits, just giving up the one earned run on a solo shot, but another solid performance from Myers, and he only pitched 66. Had 66 pitches yesterday in 6 innings there. So coming off of his 8 inning, 100 pitch performance, he's kind of solidifying his spot right now, I would say, within this rotation. I don't think you can set him down by. I mean, on one hand, you're still banged up, and you got some depth issues there with the starting rotation. But couple of back-to-back starts now for Tobias Myers, who 2 wins and looked pretty darn sharp. 3-2, 3.76 so far on the season. Mentioned Willie Adames with his home run yesterday. Now leads the team with 11. You had Yelich collecting 3 hits yesterday, playing in that DH role. Sal Frelick also helping out with a couple of hits there too, and Jackson Cheerio with a couple hits as well. So off day today for the Crew as they get set for a weekend series in Milwaukee against the Cincinnati Reds before they start off on a West Coast California trip. 3 games against the Angels starting on Monday, then 4 against the Padres before returning home June 24th to take on the Texas Rangers. Brewers still holding on to I shouldn't say holding on. They're I don't want to say too comfortable either because you don't want to get complacent. A solid 7-game lead in the division over both, or I should say, over the Cubs, Reds, and Cardinals. Those 3 teams are 7 games back from the Brewers. Pittsburgh, 7.5 back from the Brewers. The Brewers, the only team in the division right now in the NL Central with a winning record. You've got both the Cubs and the Reds, 33 and 35. The Cardinals, 32 and 34. Those 3 teams with a 485 win percentage. So Brewers picking up their 40th win on the season yesterday, 40 and 28 overall. We are about getting there to halfway through the season, about 42% of the way through this season. So we'll talk some Brewers, talk some Brew Crew with another series win throughout this morning. Speaking of baseball, by the way, just under 3 hours from now, too, Aliva Strom will be taking the field against Solon Springs Northwood for the Division IV State Baseball Championship. So best of luck. The state championship baseball games will be underway throughout the day today. So also the Express last night was at the ballpark checking out, ended up being Good weather last night for some baseball at Carson Park. So little throwback there, having the Eau Claire Bears. It was kind of like, what do they keep talking about the Bears? But sweet throwback outfits last night too. But the Express falling to the Wausau Woodchucks 7-2. The Express now hit the road to take on the Waterloo Bucks for a couple of games. The NBA Finals kind of, I hate to say this, but it's turning into a little bit of a dud because Boston, I know it was closer for a little bit, but Boston now out to a 3-0 lead. A 3-0 lead after picking up a 106-99 victory last night. Boston jumped out to I mean, it was close through, first half. Then they outscored Dallas 35-19 in the third. So it was, I don't know, but kind of this whole series, maybe I saw somebody say it's maybe more competitive to figure out who the finals MVP is going to be for the Celtics than what actually this entire series has been thus far. But Tatum 31 points last night, Brown 30 points to lead the way for the Celtics. So they are just one win away from claiming another NBA championship in their historic franchise history. Stanley Cup Finals back underway tonight. Game 3 between Florida and Edmonton. Florida is also leading that series 2-0. They're looking to jump out to a 3-0 lead. Edmonton trying to get back into this thing with a W tonight. So what else do we got here? Packers wrapping up minicamp 2. Jordan Love. I'm going to talk a little bit about Jordan Love. He had this to say that he's. I mean, it sure seems like when you also Kenny Clark, but it sure seems like maybe the Packers might have a couple of high-priced extensions done before training camp. Jordan Love, kind of insinuating that's hopefully going to be the plan, and that was kind of what Goody had said. Was it a couple weeks ago that they were hopeful that they could get an extension done before training camp opened up, and Jordan Love kind of alluding to that as well. So, but mandatory mini camps, wrapping up for the pack and such. Sounds like it was a pretty solid day for Jordan Love and the Packers and such. But again, it's just shorts, and it's just that sort of stuff. Let's not try to overreact too much from from practice and that. But one thing too, I know this was from a couple days ago too. But if you go to practice, I'm assuming they're going to have it out when training camp opens next month. And I know a lot of people go and check out a practice maybe for a day or for a couple days or such. But one thing new that you're going to see on the practice field is that oh, never mind. I just saw Rob Domofsky said that they're not going to use it, but probably noticed that they've got this big old video screen up on the sidelines, and that way players can watch replay of a practice rep or a snap or something like that. But it says here LaFleur said they won't use it on the field because I don't know who's in the stands, but said they could use it in the regular season. See, it's all about trying to figure out or trying, got to be careful, and conspiracy and maybe some secret scouts in the stands and all that sort of stuff. So, but back to Jordan Love, he did say that optimistic about getting a deal done. He said it's what I've heard about potentially getting an extension done before training camp and such. But I know Goody said to 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee, a radio station, was last week, said that we're in those conversations right now. Both parties want the same thing. We'd like to get this done before training camp for sure. So, we know the Packers have that cap number. They've got that a healthy cap situation right now. So we know there's not going to be any big free agent signings at this point in time, at the middle of June and such. So why not maybe take advantage of some of that open cap space, cap hits especially, and get a couple of high-priced extensions done, Jordan Love and Kenny Clark. So there's a really good chance, it seems like, that both of these deals are going to get done before training camp opens up next month. It is an outdoor tidbits Thursday with DNR warden, Mr. Jake Bulks. So make sure you send in your questions to our DNR warden buddy by hitting us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. That's 715-830-1912. We had a couple questions that we'll save up for him that was sent last week. I know Jake was out. A little R&R, so we'll get to those. And we'll get to that with Jake coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:30 this morning. So also we'll do a little receiver defer coming up at 7:45. So if you have any suggestions for a receive or defer question, we're open to that. All right, hit us up. Let us know. All right. What do you got? Okay, hit me up. Kind of find out if there's something going on, but I just saw Farvey tweeted this 17 minutes ago. So I don't know if there's maybe, are they doing any Hall of Fame? I'll have to double check this, but yeah, unless it was just a random tweet from Favre, but he said, my career would have not been as productive nor long if not for Sterling Sharp my first 2 years. Sterling was a man amongst boys. He was also one of the smartest players in my 20 years. I think 84, without question, should be in Canton. Career cut short by neck injury, 84 HOF. So I don't know. Maybe they're doing some senior committee stuff today. I'll have to maybe do a little more research on that. So I think Favre is preaching to the choir there for a lot of Packers fans. No doubt about it. All right, let's get things rolling here this morning, shall we? Let's talk a little Brewers. Brewers with another series win, although got pretty nerve-wracking there towards the end. But nonetheless, they hold on to a 5-4 victory against the Toronto Blue Jays. Another solid start for Tobias Myers. Willie Adames, now your team leader in home runs with 11 and team leader in RBIs with 47. Yelich collected 3 hits. He's continuing his solid season as well. Brewers playing a little small ball. You got some double steals and all. I mean, that's double steals. Talking about the Brewers here. Come on now. That's how they manufactured that run. That's what kicked off that 6th inning where they put up 5, and that was with 2 outs. It was like that's what awakened the offense, or awoke the offense, or woke up the bats, sort of thing. So kind of cool. And Pat Murphy saying afterwards, you try to create something sometimes. We have it in our bag to be able to do that. He was right. It was the spark, no doubt, that the Brewers offense needed yesterday. So let's talk a little baseball. Let's talk a little Brewers to open up things here. Join in on the convo. All right, hit us up on the video stream, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or hit us up on that texting line, 715-830-1912. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll get things going here on the leadoff, all right? Join in on the convo. I want to hear from you. Leadoff coming up after these quick words.
Take on today's topics, but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
If you're looking for a step up and a great career, then apply at American Materials. They're looking for ready mixed concrete drivers. You're home every night, great compensation, and you're making a difference. Full-time seasonal positions are available right now. Hey, Curtis, what else should people know about American Materials?
I like working for American Materials because I'm home nightly. It's great pay. You work along with and build great relationships with customers. You must be 18 years old and be able to acquire a Class B CDL automatic for this position. As well as you'll be delivering concrete to residential and commercial sites with an updated and well-maintained mixer. Great benefits too, profit sharing and a great 401k plan.
Apply now for ready-mix concrete drivers at American Materials, earning up to $34 an hour with paid vacation and 401k matches, and newly added paid sick time and upgraded pay package and paid time off. AmericanMaterials.com/careers. Your job is different every day, making changes in our community and home every night and great benefits. AmericanMaterials.com/careers.
Get ready to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, June 14th, with Jim Bob's Pizza. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Are you looking for your very own sanctuary? A place that you can just get away from the hustle and bustle of the everyday world? A place of peace and quiet? That sounds amazing, right? Well, make that dream a reality with the help from Woods and Water Realty. Just visit woodsandwater.com to view all their listings of available property for sale. From wooded parcels to build your own cabin or a permanent campsite to that place on the lake, you're sure to find your new sanctuary with the help from Woods and Water Realty. Start your journey today by visiting woodsandwater.com.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
Transform your home in one weekend and save big money when you shop at Menards. Get long-lasting color with Pittsburgh's Grand Distinction exterior paint. It's a paint and primer in one. Plus, it's highly dirt-resistant to maintain a clean appearance. Save big on Grand Distinction paint with over 750 one-coat colors. Visit Menards.com to learn more. Plus, view the weekly flyer and other great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Muldoon's Menswear on Hastings Way in Eau Claire offers more than just suits. They carry many brands of blue jeans and sports shirts, with all the top brands, including Stormy Cromer, Tommy Bahama, Pendleton. They are your place to go for Father's Day. Muldoon's Menswear, open since 1950. On a budget, they also have an outlet store attached. Step in or visit them at muldoons.com or find them on Facebook.
Hi, it's Tom Stryker for Post Glass and Mirror in Chippewa Falls. Spring is when things start growing. Your lawn, your garden, and that chip in your windshield. Oh, it might just be a little bullseye or star now, but it can grow into big damage and even compromise your family's safety in a collision. All that from that little chip. Do like I did and trust the pros at Post. Depending on your insurance, your windshield repair could be done with zero out-of-pocket cost. Learn how at postglassandmirror.com.
Not only can you listen to your favorite radio show in the world, but now you can watch why everyone says Dan has a face for radio. Watch the Dan Kasper Show live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Get on the bus with us to Minnesota. Coming up Sunday, July 21st, the first series after the All-Star Break game there for Sunday. Just head to wiscotrips.com Or you can head to sportstalk1051.com too, and the link is up over there. But we still got a few tickets left for just $95. You get game tickets and a round trip motor coach transportation to go to Milwaukee versus Minnesota, that Sunday game. 1 p.m. Is it 1 p.m. I believe over there too? So I'll have to double check the. Yeah, it's an afternoon. See if I can read sideways. Yeah, 1:10 is first pitch over there. So again, head to wiscotrips.com or sportstalk1051.com. All the information is up there, and and to purchase your tickets is available there too. Reminder: you do need the ballpark app on your phone because tickets, well, they're all digital now, and they will be electronically delivered to your ballpark app. So
it does work slick. I've done that with the Brewer tickets, and it does work really slick.
Mhm.
Even I can figure it out.
If Bob can figure it out, then anybody can figure it out.
That's
Although
it.
I will say,
That's true.
I do miss the paper tickets and that because I do collect them.
Yeah,
So
I know. A lot of people have collector boards, and if all of a sudden you had a World Series season and you went to half a dozen games, you want to, collect them. I agree with you. I think that's too bad.
I do too. So what I do is like I'll screenshot on my phone what the ticket is and just print it off because I have a binder with everything on there. So it's not the same.
Not even close.
No. So it loses a little bit of that luxury, no doubt about
Yep.
it. So.
And I can't believe that's not sold out already because that, a Sunday afternoon game over in the morning back, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Yeah, you don't have to take off for work or anything like that.
They only have to put up with you for an hour and a half.
Well, I'm not on there, so I'm not.
You're not going?
I think it's Murph.
Oh,
Murph,
is he?
Yeah.
Well, he's originally from Minnesota, but I think he's a Brewers fan. But
I think his buddy Dan and Murph are doing
that'll
that
be
one
fun.
over there.
Fun going with Murph.
Yep, exactly. So, wiscotrips.com, your location over there. So, speaking of by the way, welcome back. How was Montana?
Oh, you got a couple hours, I can tell you about it. I mean, the people around here don't realize, a lot of people have driven out west and they've seen how big the country is. But until you get off the main highway, just one quick story, or a couple of quick stories here. The ranch I was on, a friend of mine is a broadcaster in Montana, and they've been on this cattle ranch for 3 or 4 generations. It's 60,000 acres. Now that's 5.5 miles wide by about 17 or 18 miles north to south. And for those that know land, that's 100 sections.
Man.
100 sections, one section is 640 acres. So times 100, that's 64,000 acres. And so, I mean, it's unbelievable. And he said, when you get to Glendive, Montana, people know that's the easternmost city in Montana, just over the North Dakota border. Get off the interstate, get off I-94 and take Highway 200, 160 miles to the ranch. So that's a 2-hour drive, 160 on a 2-lane road.
Wow.
We got off on Highway 200, drove to the ranch, all the way to that ranch on Highway 200, west of Glendive, Montana. In our lane of traffic, I never saw another vehicle,
You're kidding,
either ahead of me or behind me on this road. The only vehicles I saw were 2 guys riding bikes. Now, what in the world they were riding bikes? If they had a flat tire, they're in the middle of literally nowhere. I mean, it's just wide open range country. Saw maybe a half a dozen on the other direction, but not one other vehicle for 160 miles till we got to the ranch. It was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can tell you more stories later about gathering cattle and doing all kinds of stuff. It was a trip of a lifetime. It was a real bucket list thing. Every kid growing up wants to be a cowboy.
Yeah.
And I was a cowboy for a week. 4:30 is breakfast. 5 o'clock, you wrangle your horse, you get them saddled, throw them in the trailer. Down the road you go. One morning the sun was coming up over the horizon and they were upset. We're burning daylight in a truck. You burn daylight in these pastures to gather cattle, and there are all kinds of different pastures. The young cows with their calves, 3 and 4-year-olds with theirs, the 5 and 6-year-old cows and 7 and 8-year-old cows, all in different pastures, registered cows. And then you ride 5, 6, 7, 8 miles to gather these cattle because they're all over the place. And you got guys in all and gals. Some of these young girls are really accomplished ropers and everything, riders. And you gather the cows in, you bring them to the place where they're going to work the calves. and then they take portable corrals out there, and it's quite a system. Sometime when we got more time, I'd want to take more time. We'll talk about that. But it was unbelievable to watch these people, and it was all the ranchers. They all work together. So ranchers from all over the area will come in and help our guy with his cattle. He had 1,800 head of cows and calves, so 1,800 calves had to be worked. And you don't do that with a crew of 5 or 6. I mean, you just have a lot of people. They all help. Then we're done this ranch. They go to the next ranch, and so on and so forth. So it's quite a relationship that they have with each other out there. And horses, they around here, you go to a horse show, they tie them to a trailer.
Yeah.
Out there, they get off. They've got their hobbles right attached to their saddle. They take the bridle off, hook it over the horn, hobble those horses, and those horses will stand there for 2-3 hours while they work the calves and everything. Get all done, rope and put them up, and away you go. I mean, a process unlike any other. And if you ever get a chance to do it, do it.
That's so cool.
It was cool beyond belief.
Man, I got to definitely check something out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, and if you were follow me on Facebook, I put a whole bunch of pictures up there of, riding, and you're behind all these cattle. You got a whole herd of cattle, Black Angus cattle, and you can see forever because they're, nothing to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and you get down in some of these ravines and draws, and get on there and get those cows out of there. So I went down in there and I get the cows out of there. And then I'm thinking, now how in the world do I get out of here? Because these are deep ravines. And so you got to ride around on your horse and find where the cows had gone out and made a trail. And it's pretty steep sometimes. There were times when the horse wouldn't do it, so I had to find a different one. And it was just an education unlike any other. It was really a treat. It was just an unbelievable time out there.
So cool. Hey,
and then I got to say, too, that was my friend's ranch. And then also sometime I visited Steve Rooney. A lot of people know Steve Rooney from up in Chippewa Falls and Precision Pipeline. But the cattle, if you go up north on 53, those by Tractor Central, all those black cattle there.
Yep.
That's his ranch there, his farm there. He's got 1,000 head of black cattle there, he told me. But he bought a ranch a month and a half ago at White Sulphur Springs, Montana. So I called him, and he was out there. I went and visited that ranch. And we drove around that ranch, and that's 50,000 acres, which will be more. He's renting land from a Cargill, and everybody knows the Cargill name over in the Twin Cities and that major corporation. And it's just an unbelievable place. We saw elk, we saw antelope, we saw up close and personal, and we saw coyotes and mule deer, you name it. We saw it out there when you're riding. It's not like driving down there when you're riding. You bump them up, and it was an experience of living the Western life for a week. It was really fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, well, welcome back, man.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I think I was listening the other day when I went down Tuesday, when I went down to the Madison to the FFA convention, and I had to come home early because I've been struggling with my voice. The wind blew out there tremendously, and it kind of took my voice away. So I had to come home because when we got down there, everybody wanted to talk. Bob, how you doing? How was your ranching? This, that, and everything. So I can't talk to all these people. I won't talk for a week. So I came home. But on my way down there, I heard you talking about, unrecognized or whatever term you were using. Former Wisconsin athletes.
Underrated.
Yeah. Did you get mine?
I did get yours.
Did you realize who it was?
Yes.
All right.
I read it in between breaks
because I lost it. I lost you going down the road, but it's 790 goes way down the highway.
Mm-hmm.
But I lost it. But that was a guy not many people talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got. I think we're going to reveal the entire bracket tomorrow.
Yeah, and I don't think, and a lot of people wouldn't remember that name. He was an older guy, but he was older than I am. But he was spectacular down there at Madison playing baseball. Rick Reichart.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many people will remember that. But, a lot of people like, you had Heisman Trophy winners. And, but this guy, when he was playing baseball at Wisconsin, everybody wanted him. Every team wanted him, Rick Reichart. And then you get to the NFL draft, and, our Heisman Trophy winner wasn't the first draftee. I mean, this guy was really special. From over at Stevens Point, his dad was a doctor over there, and he was and they said if he wouldn't have been playing Major League Baseball, and he reminded me, for those that don't remember, he reminded me a lot of Mike Trout. Built kind of the same way, hit a ball that hard, he turned out not to be as good a player as Mike Trout, but he had a career in the major leagues. But they said if he wouldn't have gone there, he'd got drafted as a receiver in the NFL.
Oh,
underrated in Wisconsin, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah,
Maybe not the most, but I think he deserves to be on the list.
absolutely. Also, too, I forgot U.S. Open. They are out on the course right now.
Oh, that's right.
They are out. Tiger's getting ready to tee off here in just a little bit as well. So they are out there at Pinehurst. So
I was watching some of the advanced talking heads. That sounds like it's going to be a bear of a course.
I saw a video of somebody we know the U.S. that those greens over at Pinehurst are fast. Somebody was standing there and they just dropped the ball. Just kept going.
Yeah.
Kept going. I mean, just literally just that and dropped it and just kept going. It's like that. I could not do that course.
Oh, no.
I would love to try.
And
but
I watch some of these pros that aren't in it anymore, but are still pro golfers. One guy was on the front of the green or front of the in the fairway about 15 yards off the green. And he said, the pin's on the back here. I think it was hole 14. And he said, I'm going to hit it up there, but I'm only going to hit it about halfway and let it roll out. Well, it looked like a perfect shot. It kept rolling and rolling, rolled off the green. I bet it rolled 30, 40 yards off the green. So the guy says, now what do I do? Because when I hit it back on the green, it might either come back to me or roll off the front. I've got a window of about 6 feet where I can keep this ball anywhere close to the pin. So this could be one of those U.S. Opens where there are not many guys under par.
Yep, exactly. There's a really cool, there's a lot of good groups here, but this is going to be probably one of the most popular ones. Rory, Scotty, and Xander are all grouped together.
They're together?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a group together.
Is the crowd going to follow them?
I think so.
Wow.
I would think so.
And this is the kind of a golf course where, we know the Masters. We know what Augusta is about. So, do you want to follow people? And most people just sit like on 16 at Augusta or whatever, or 12th tee or whatever. And this is going to be the kind of a golf course I would think if I was there, I'm going to be putting in a lot of miles because I'm going to be walking. I want to see drives. I want to see these irons into these greens.
Yep.
I want to see them putting on some of these greens.
Because you're going to see a lot of driver putts and all that, wedge or the hybrid putt.
No, this is not a golf course where you don't want to sit on one hole and just watch them putt on a hole or drive on a hole, but you want to move around the golf course, which might be tough because it's going to be in the 90s and humid. So hopefully there are a lot of trees to get in some shade.
No kidding. So we'll keep you posted on some of the rounds and scores as they get updated and such here. But Crew picking up another series win against the I've been kind of calling them this the whole week, the Fighting Dalton Varshows of the Blue Jays there. But Brewers taking another series win. How about this as a little nugget for how well the Brewers have been playing at home since April 30th? This is according to MLB Stats. After the game yesterday, Milwaukee's 15-4 home record since April 30th is the second best in the entire majors in that span. The only team better than them, Phillies, who are 17-4 over there.
Are playing well.
Yeah, so Brewers playing incredibly well at AmFam Field since April 30th, which, if you remember, too, I know it was only a few weeks into the season, but they were actually a little bit better on the road, but they kind of changed that around here too. So taking advantage of AmFam Field there. And then yesterday get some double steals to get the action going there that led off that 6th inning there. Pat Murphy after the game saying, we've got a bag of tricks and sometimes you just got to pull them out essentially is what he was saying.
I think
but
that's what people are excited about.
Yeah.
Is Murphy.
Yep.
He's bringing more action to this team than we saw before. I've got a receiver to Fern and Lowe's. We're talking to Brewers. I'll bring it up right now. Trading Adames would be more unpopular than trading Hader.
Ooh.
This guy is holding this team together. I mean,
I like that.
He's the leader.
Well,
and
think
of course,
about
there's
that
a
one
lot.
a bit.
We can think about it, but there's a lot of talk of the trading deadline, and the national pundits, so to speak, or the national talking heads are saying that two names that are the most talked about as far as trades, Adames, and I forgot the other one because when they said Adames, my ears picked up. Because I thought, oh, geez, the Brewers aren't going to do it again. And I know they've got a lot of young guys that can play shortstop, but this guy's giving them some offense this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they will. I know, was it last week, Anasio and Matt Arnold did an interview. Mark Anasio loves that guy. He did acknowledge that there were extension talks. I think he said in the offseason, I'll have to revisit it and that such, but I don't know if that's something that could pick up again. But it's
It
going to
better
cost
pick up again.
Yeah, it'll cost a lot. But I mean, you look at some of their young pitchers that have been stepping up. You're not going to have to really pay for pitching if these guys can
You got to stay
continue.
healthy.
Yeah,
I mean, Gosser, I thought, yeah, here, this guy is going to be rookie of the year. He's gone.
done for the year. Probably, it sounds like that's what Pat Murphy is kind of operating under. I mean, when you got to go under a third opinion, it doesn't bode well
No,
after
it
that.
doesn't.
So, but I know we kind of threw out that question. I think it was last week too. Do you want Adames signed to an extension? You talk about the personality, the clubhouse leader, and such, and now he's offensively. I mean, I'd be okay with it. I mean, Ortiz is
Absolutely.
playing incredibly well at third. I know he was talked about as that shortstop, but I mean, if you have an infield of Ortiz at third, Willie and Bryce Terang at second, I'm
And
excited
Hoskins
about.
isn't bad at first.
Yeah, defensively, like those three though, I'm good with that. I think any team would be ecstatic about those three.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, and if they would trade him, which boy, I hope they don't, they'd better get a whole lot more than they got for Hader. I mean, Gosser was in that deal now 2 or 3 years later, was showing that he maybe is going to be a pretty good major league pitcher, but we don't know. He only had 3, 4, 5 starts.
Mhm.
So you can't, it's pointing in that direction. I'll give him that. But you better get some immediate help, and it better be good help. These can't be secondary names. I mean, if you're going to some team and they want Willie Adames, we're going to hold you up for it.
Yeah. Yeah,
because the Brewers have been held up before. It's time for them to dig in their heels and say, this is what we want, or you're not getting Adames.
I honestly feel like maybe that Willie, if I don't think it happens, but if for some reason it did, that would, at this point, and everything's the same when you're up 7 games in your division. Yeah, I think there'd be more pissed off people.
Oh, and especially if they didn't end up winning the division. If they trade him when they're still comfortably ahead, and 7 games is more ahead than I ever expected in the middle of June.
When you're almost halfway through the season.
Yeah, exactly. And you're 7 games up. It gives you a little it gives you a little cushion, so to speak, because you're going to have, 4 or 5 game losing streak. Hopefully that's the limit. If that, I hope it's not even that. But Adames, I mean, yesterday, this team shut out the day before. They only scored 3 runs the day before. I mean, Adames, the double steal, Murphy. I mean, there are a lot of things that go into it, but Adames is right in the middle of all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yelich is having another fantastic season too. 3 hits yesterday. He's consistently over 300 so far this year. I mean, it's working.
A great chemistry right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think not only among the teammates, but a great chemistry. This guy Murphy has a feel for this team and the ability of these guys, whether it's the veterans like Adames and Yelich, or whether it's some of these young guys, Terang and Ortiz.
Jackson Churio
has been contributing. And so
Blake Perkins, for crying out loud.
You got some good chemistry going there. And, all of a sudden, like the team when they traded Hader, they just said, oh, we thought we were in it. Evidently management doesn't think we're in it. And they get their dauber down, so to speak. And I think trading Adames would do the same thing.
I think it's such a nice blend, too, of where, you got a manager like Murphy who's been in the game for how many years. But then, Matt Arnold, the general manager, who may be a little bit more analytical, comes from the Rays and such, but it's blending nicely. It just feels like they're on the same page. Whereas if they want those players, analytics and baseball, we know it. But it's right now, it's blending nicely. It's working. And it doesn't happen all the time for a lot of these teams. But for whatever reason, right now, it's working for the Brewers. And you hear other things, Murphy's, empowering more of his coach, like giving them more responsibility, whether, his staff and such. And it's just, you're hearing all these other stuff kind of come out of the woodworks because, I mean, you look back at all the assistant coaches are the same, hitting coaches are the same, pitching coach is the same. Ricky Weeks is there, but I mean, he took over for Pat Murphy essentially. So, I mean, there's wasn't like there was this complete change of staffs or anything like that.
And I think that's part of the reason for the success.
Mm-hmm.
They were comfortable with each other. The players knew the pitching coach, the hitting coach, the fielding coach, whatever kind of, they got all kinds of coaches for everything now. But I think Murphy blended them all well. And, he's, receiver to fur. He's manager of the year.
Well, wouldn't it be funny that Council, who never won one for the Brewers, was always a finalist, Murphy in his first year would win one?
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. There's Cubs fans that are upset right now with Greg Council, at least on social media and Facebook. And then I know sometimes that's the loud majority out there. But, they're looking at that big contract he signed. And, is it all Council, or is it, I think a lot of us thought maybe the Cubs would be a little bit more aggressive in free agency, and they weren't. But, those two, their careers now are going to be compared to for the next couple of years.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And it's only June.
Right.
Long way to go before the end of the season. So let's not put a cap on it yet. But it is what it has been so far. And so far, the Brewers have made more with Murphy than the Cubs have with Council.
I saw somebody make this comment about the Brewers after the game yesterday, or when the Brewers jumped out to that lead. Pretty much saying it's got to be kind of frustrating, annoying to play this Brewers team this year. Because, and I think they meant it in a positive way, because it's like maybe one inning they just explode, or like they're never out of it. And Rhys Hoskins was actually saying this a few days ago. And I think, Brewers fans who follow this team for the last couple of years, where if you felt like you were down 2-0, it was like, oh crap, we're not going to win. Whereas Hoskins said that's the mentality is like we could be down, a few runs heading into the ninth, but they have this mentality, this belief that they're not out of it. And I think
as a fan, you've got to have that same belief.
Mm-hmm.
I was frustrated. They were shut out the day before, and they weren't doing well yesterday. And then all of a sudden, they got on base and they ran the bases and they hit a home run. I mean, and then that's the way this team has been.
Yeah,
they've had a lot of big innings
and pitchers that we've never heard of coming through and playing incredibly well. So I think that's what this person was trying to say is like, you look at it like, what are they doing? Like, why are they winning? It's just the chemistry, I think, is the main thing right now. It's working, and
I think
pushing a lot of the buttons the right way.
Exactly. You said it exactly what I was going to say. He's pushing the right buttons by having everybody ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the same lineup day in and day out, and you're not batting in the same spot. If you are in the lineup day in and day out, he will change it based on the pitcher they're facing, based on his gut feeling about, I remember Terang was batting ninth there a few games ago, and there you got a leadoff hitter batting ninth, and that paid off because, he got on base and started a couple of rallies.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, starting Koenig a couple games in a row as an opener, pitching an inning, and
that was crazy.
And then throwing in Colin Ray after that. I mean, he's doing a bunch of different things this year.
It makes you think, Council always got the credit for doing that. Remember, Wade Miley started
in the playoff game against the Dodgers,
pitched an inning or whatever. Was this Murphy behind the scenes telling him, hey, let's do this, let's try this, and get the other team off guard? And, so, a lot of questions you have to ask. How much was Murphy a part of the Council decision-making regime when Council was, because he gets all the credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Murphy doesn't, and we'll probably never know. Murphy, I'm sure, doesn't want the credit.
No.
I mean, you don't want to bring that stuff up now, but it is what it is, and I hope at the end of the season, Cubs fans are even unhappier than they are now.
Right? Yeah. It's just, I know I keep saying it. I'm having fun this year watching this. I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, you think about it, how like 2024 season began. Yeah, the Bucks were a disappointment, but how the Packers kind of finished their season, second half of their season going into the postseason. This Brewers team right now, between these two teams, it's been really fun to watch these younger guys and this change in regimes a little bit kind of go off. It's just been fun again, it feels like.
Yeah, it is. And I can't wait. I'm going down there again the end of June. I think the Cubs are in the end of June.
Yep.
I'm going down for a couple of games down there to watch the Cubs. But I think when teams come into Milwaukee now, it's a fun place to play. It's a comfortable place to play.
You're going to play.
Yeah, you're going to play, but you don't know what's coming out of the Brewers dugout. I mean, from inning to inning to inning, as far as who's coming out of the bullpen, and it's just been so far a fun team to watch. And I give Murphy all the credit in the world. And these players are playing his style of baseball, and when you're winning, you don't question anything.
Yeah,
the guy's been right so far. We're 7 games ahead. If he wants to double steal, we're going to double steal. And it's been a successful story so far. Hopefully we can continue that.
There was, I mentioned it yesterday, Ken Rosenthal in his piece on The Athletic, kind of went through the timeline. He's his main leadoff was the Brewers are the best, story, one of the best stories in baseball, underdog, this year. And he kind of went through the timeline of how, like, the last year or so, trade Josh Hader. You lose your division lead, miss the postseason. You lose David Stearns. You lose Craig Counsell. You trade your ace pitcher Corbin Burns, and then he puts
your second ace for the year, Woodford.
And he goes, "That's a recipe for a 7-game lead in your division, right?" But I think that's what's marveling a lot of people at this point.
Yeah, and I and I'm hoping it will make Atanasio appreciate what's going on in Milwaukee, the fan support and the personnel he's put in place in the front office, as far as leadership of this team on the field, as far as the players he's put together. And he will sign Adames to an extension that recognizes what he means to that team.
Kind of weird how a year difference makes, right? I mean, last year we were talking about Adames, like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, he can't hit a lick.
Yeah, and maybe it's entering that contract year. We see a lot, but I mean, there's that the personality. You see it in the clubhouse or in the dugout. I mean, you see it on the field too.
Yeah,
these need those guys that keep. Yeah, exactly. Right. Bingo. They love playing on the field together.
Yeah.
There's no drama. There's no issues or anything like that.
No, and Murphy has been, there have been a few times this year where they've made some questionable plays, some of these guys, but Murphy doesn't get all disjointed and out of sorts over it.
Nope.
And he's more fun to listen to in a press conference because he'll give you a little counsel, would give you nothing.
Right.
And this guy is a little more, and not he's not Leo DeRocher or somebody like that, but he'll give you something.
Yeah, I mean, even some out of context, like just out of like I was listening to one the other day, and he just randomly said, "Yeah, I spent a lot of time at some Waffle Houses." Stuff like it's just like one-liners like that. Like, where the heck did that come from? But keeps it loose a little bit. So, all right, we got to take a quick break here. Then we're going to finish up the first hour. We'll talk some more Brewers baseball and such. Off day today, though, for the crew and such before they welcome the Reds to Milwaukee this weekend. Don't forget to get your questions in for Mr. Jake Bolks, our conservation warden buddy. He'll be joining us at 8:30. So get your questions on in. Hit us up with a text at 715-830-1912. That's the easiest way and the quickest way that we can get those questions on in. So text us if you got anything that you would like to ask Mr. Jake Bolks. Looking at some of we got a couple of players right now who are one under, but everything's kind of getting underway here at the U.S. Open. We get Power and then Morales, who's an amateur, who are currently one under, but that's like through one or two. So guys
Good
who
for
are
them.
yeah,
They might not be under par very long in that course.
nope, not at all. So, but things getting underway this morning for the U.S. Open. If you want to make some picks, you can also hit us up with a text on those. Who are you picking? Or maybe the better question is, with the way he's playing, is it Scotty or the field with right now? So, but hey, you know what? Rory's not getting divorced anymore, so maybe
good.
that could be the boost for him. That was
Good. Glad he got back together with his bride, whatever their challenges were. I'm glad
Mhm.
they are solving them.
So I don't know. Maybe that will help propel and ease his mind a little bit on the course. But yeah, it's Scotty. I think I had read that his odds right now are some of the like most dominant or best odds to win since like Tiger in '09. With how I mean, look at how well Scotty's been playing. That's gonna be a movie, mate. Like if he just wins a bunch this year, and given the whole police thing at the PGA, I mean that's like a book. That's a movie waiting to be written
Yeah.
for this golf season.
Boy,
So.
that's for sure. Have you heard? I don't know who told me this. That John Rahm is out of the Open with
He is.
some challenge that he's got.
He's got some infection in between his toes.
Yeah, something like, and that's hard to walk in this heat. But have you heard the same thing that I heard? And I don't know who told me this or where I heard it, but I got my attention that he hates the Live Tour.
Oh, I don't know.
He hates that format. He doesn't like it one bit at all. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I heard it, and whether he would admit it publicly, I don't know, but that was interesting. I thought.
I know a few weeks ago, or was it a couple months ago, he talked about that he'd like to see them add that extra round instead of making it a 3-round. You know, he wanted the full 4 rounds on there and such, but that's all I've heard a little bit. So, but maybe I'll do some digging, see if I can find something out there. So
because he doesn't like play, he doesn't like all these guys playing in shorts. Although I've seen him playing in shorts and the 3 rounds and team golf. He said that's not what we were brought up to do. This is an individual sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I win, I win. If I lose, it's on me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. 1 hour in. We got a couple more to go here. Stick around. We'll be back after these quick news updates.
Mechanics and Design, the state winner, Grayson Stahlheim from Osseo Fairchild. In Ag Services, Isaac Jacoby from Loyal. Ag Education, Lizzie Reinhardt from the Granton FFA. Dairy Production Entrepreneurship, that means ownership of some dairy. Summer Hammond from Barron. Diversified Ag, Caleb Ellis from Cochrane Fountain City. Diversified Livestock, Brenna Goplin from Whitehall. Food Service, Corbin Weber from the Cochrane Fountain City FFA. Forest Management, Caleb Chassaw from Granton. Fruit Production, Abigail Wohler from the Granton FFA. Organic Agriculture, McKenna Jakubik from New Auburn. And in Swine Placement, Emily Zukowski from Menominee. Ag Country Farm Credit Services received the Wisconsin State FFA Distinguished Service Award and the Wisconsin VIP Award, which has only been awarded to 25 people in the state, was handed out to Cheryl Steinbach from Granton for all her years as an FFA instructor and currently serving as the Wisconsin FFA alumni leader. The USDA released its June crop production World Ag Supply and Demand report yesterday. Not a lot of movement. USDA estimates this year's corn crop 14.86 billion bushels with a yield of 181 bushels per acre on 90 million acres planted. Average prices this year's corn crop expected to be just $4.40 a bushel. And the new crop exports are expected to be 2.2 billion bushels, and ending stocks for corn are expected to be just over 2.1 billion bushels, slightly higher than the old crop ending stocks. The USDA kept Brazil's and Argentina's total corn production the same as the May numbers. That's a look at some of our food and farm news this morning on Sports Talk 105.1 and AM 790. I'm intern Bob.
With Wendy's $3 English muffin deal, you don't just get a breakfast, you get a proper meal. Get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg and cheese English muffin sandwich with small seasoned potatoes. Grab yours today. Terms apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports aficionados and armchair quarterbacks, welcome to the Dan Kasper Show, where sports passion meets expert analysis. Dan's encyclopedic knowledge and infectious passion for all things sports is both impressive and sad.
I have many leather-bound books.
So get ready to laugh, cheer, and maybe even facepalm a few times.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
It's the Dan Kasper Show.
Second hour kicking off on this Thursday morning. Big thanks for tuning in wherever, however you may be tuning in from. Shout out to all of you tuning in on the video stream out there. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those locations. You got the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. You can also stream it up at sportstalk1051.com or download the Sports Talk app. Take it on the go. We'll get back to some more Brewers baseball talk coming up a little bit later on, but let's just go to a playoff right now for the U.S. Open because Tiger's tied for first. He birdied the first hole.
Good for Tiger.
So let's go to a playoff right now.
That's right. He'll win in a walk.
But Tiger is on the course, birdied the first one, tied for first place.
I do expect him to do better here than the Masters because the Masters, and I've never been there, but everybody I've talked to and everybody on the air talks about what a gruesome walk that is for a guy like Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
This is a much more level course. And so they do expect there won't be as much strain on Tiger as far as walking. So he might be able to handle it. Who knows? He's Tiger.
He's Tiger. So never say never, right? But boy, that would really set off. I feel like the U.S. Open's kind of been a little quiet lead up to it, but he is in contention on Father's Day weekend. Oh, boy. There you have it.
Boy,
TV networks.
That would bring.
And I think Charlie's with him because I saw some photos, too, that Charlie was with him and just kind of hanging out and such. So
yeah, this would re-energize. I mean, Scotty's re-energize it, but he's not Tiger.
Right.
Nobody's Tiger. I mean, you can't compare him to Tiger. It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
But if Tiger would win or be in contention, can you imagine what that would mean?
good Lord. Let's not jinx it, knock on wood. right there.
No.
Also, Express quickly are on the road. They were at Carson Park falling to the Watson Woodchucks last night. Was at the ballpark. Nice night to catch a game over there.
I
So
haven't been there yet this year. I got to get out there and watch them.
you do. They were. It was the Wretch throwback wearing their Bears uniforms last night.
Really?
So
Okay.
it took me a little bit every time they kept saying Bears. I'm like, what are we talking about? Well, yeah, that just threw me off there a little bit. So, but yeah, you have to check it. They got the new huge banners done by our good friends, Residence Branding Company of the alums on there. I mean, they're huge outside of Carson Park. So, like,
good.
Dalton, obviously, Calhoun and Zimmerman and such. So, sweet banners out there.
It's good to see. And
Yep.
I hope it inspires the powers that be. Fix that stadium.
You're not the only one.
I know
You're not the only one.
I know
So,
I'm not.
yep. But yeah, it was a nice night. I know they were talking about some rain, but nice night at the ballpark over there too. So
Beautiful night.
Yep. And Hutsy got introduced his little league team out there. So
that's always fun to include the kids because
Mhm.
that's where you do. That's where you got to get them at that age to be fans, and they'll stay with you.
Yep, exactly. And he won a Hank Aaron bobblehead too, thanks to RCU over there. So
Oh, did he really? Good for him.
Yep, exactly. So, but I know the Legion teams too. If our good buddy Mark Faunus is listening, Legion 19U, 17U, they begin their season tonight at Carson Park, taking on River Falls. So, you want to go check out some Legion baseball action, and then less than 2 hours. We should also note Oliva Strum's state championship game going up against Solon Springs in Northwood.
Oh, that's good. And I missed all that. I missed the girls softball finals, and I got to check on see how some of those teams did. I was interested in the
Fall Creek won state. So
okay, did they good?
Yep.
I was wondering how Auburndale was doing over there.
I know Thorpe fell in their first game over there, but yeah, Fall Creek 7-0 win the championship against Cuba City.
Good deal.
But yeah, they got that job done too. So, well, best of luck, Oliva Strum. Bring a championship home.
Sounded like quite a game as they beat Stephen Point Pacelli.
Yep, it was a go-ahead double in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, and I was just reading the story of the young man. I forgot his name, and then he comes back in the next inning and throws a shutout inning and finishes them off. You talk about being on a high.
Mhm.
Wow.
Right? No kidding. So I don't know if those kids got much sleep last night, knowing that they got the 9:00 game too, and it's for the state championship.
Yeah,
So
they'll be ready.
Mhm.
Been a while. Oliva Strum, remember a few years ago, and they won basketball. I think they won basketball, football, golf. I mean, when they had that one group of kids there that was so outstanding. So, you go in streaks.
Mhm.
And so hopefully this team can bring back another gold ball for Oliva Strum.
Yep, absolutely. NBA Finals, kind of a
I
dud
didn't
to
even watch
me.
it last
It's
night. This is the most uninteresting finals I've ever seen.
Boston's out to a 3-0
Oh,
lead
they won?
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are playing well, but they're not playing. That whole team isn't playing near as well as they did leading up to it. It's like they're satisfied to get there, and they're just going to let Boston walk all over them.
106-99 victory. Boston outscored them in the third, 35-19. Then Dallas tried to make a little bit of a comeback there too, but I mean this was even without Porzingis playing.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
It's yeah.
And most people thought it was over after they left Boston.
Mhm.
'Cause
Yeah.
and that was a concern. We've talked about Luka, as great a player as he is, but is he a championship type player? The team can't, with him handling the ball and Kyrie handling the ball. These other guys, I think they still, even though they got to the finals, they had to win a couple of series. I think most of them are still wondering, what's really my role on this team?
Mm-hmm.
Am I supposed to shoot if I get the ball, or am I supposed to look for those two guys and let them do all the shooting? I don't think this team has an identity at all.
Mm-hmm. Let me, I know it was yesterday, but I want to throw this question out. Has there been anybody, any sports figure that has had the resume of a Jerry West? Hall of Fame player, won a championship, great college basketball player, executive, a great NBA executive. He's the logo, even though the NBA won't admit it, but he's the logo of their league. You look at a gold medal in the Olympics. I'm struggling to think of another athlete who's gotten so many credit, and I've never met him, but he seems like the most humble guy, or was the most humble guy too. Talk about it. I mean, you probably remember watching him play,
Oh,
right?
very much.
And I know
smoothest guy. He didn't have the moves or Kobe or MJ or thing like that, but the smoothest player I ever saw. Did it so easy.
I know DP was choking up quite a bit because that was his favorite, player,
yeah.
and he was on the program a lot yesterday. But I mean, I was trying to think of like you run down. We've had that off and on conversation. Has there been another great former player who's transitioned either to a coach or an executive, as well as Jerry West did? And that list it's small, if there is.
Everybody said, well, MJ was a better player. Yeah,
but he was an awful executive.
Yeah, his team. He sold his team. He wants out. He don't want anything to do with it now. And so, when you look at all, and he did it with the Lakers, and he did it with he brought
the Grizzlies.
Vancouver Grizzlies. He made competitive, and
worked with the Clippers a little bit. So,
and so I'd have to say I can't off the top of my head. From the time this guy was from West Virginia, and Zeke from Cabin Creek.
Yep,
that was his nickname. And when he came up, and every place he went, he was just so much smoother, so much better. There wasn't anybody that could really stop him. I mean, you watch him, and the moves, he were just silky smooth. They weren't all that quick, but boy, I'll tell you, he had them, and he was special.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I wasn't of the age that got to see him play, but I was of the era of him as being executive. Kobe Bryant, the big one. He broke my heart when he stole Shaq from my Orlando Magic, and built up those Lakers teams.
And he got Kobe in the trade on. He didn't draft
Vladdy,
him.
Yep. Traded Vladdy over to some high school kid.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the high school kid played the game the way Jerry West played. And I'm sure Jerry West saw in this kid, Kobe Bryant, this is a superstar. And Vlade Divac was not a superstar.
No, as much as that, Vladdy's in the Hall of Fame, but not at the Kobe level.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
He is, because I remember this because when he got inducted when the Final Four was in Minneapolis.
Oh, I didn't.
So I went to the presser, and I'm like, and Vladdy just looked like he did not want to be there. I don't know if it was just his natural expression, but he was sitting up there and all the lights were on there because that was also when I think it was Marcus Johnson got in for the Bucks that same year. I think it was. Don't quote me. There was a Bucks player up there, but yeah, Vladdy was just like, I'm like, oh, it's Vlade Divac up there.
Well, then he had to be pretty good, but he sure wasn't the caliber of Kobe Bryant.
No, but yeah, that was that. I know that got announced yesterday morning during our program too, but
I'm trying to think, like in football,
John Elway's the only one, but that was
player, but
a couple years.
Not of the extent that
not
Jerry
West
was.
No. Yeah, I was trying to think of one in football. That's the only one I can kind of not even in the same category, but
he was. Yeah, he had success at different levels. There's no question.
Yeah,
but Jerry West was, and did it for so long. John Elway kind of backed out here a few years ago.
Yep.
And
let's be real, if he doesn't sign Peyton Manning, is John Elway viewed as a good executive?
True. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, that's a good point too.
I'm trying to think baseball. Was there somebody in baseball that?
Well, I'm trying to think who has been a great player, move on to be a great manager, and maybe great general manager, or even an owner. And names escape me right now.
Yeah,
I really don't have any.
I'm trying to,
because I remember Frank Robinson went to be, the first black manager, and he wasn't all that successful as a manager. Hall of Fame player, obviously, one of the best. Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, and Frank Robinson. But I'm trying to think who else might be in that category, and I can't think of any.
Yeah, if anybody has one, let us know.
Hit us
up with a text over there. I don't know if Pete Rose would count on. I'm just, I don't, but yeah, I'm blanking too. Like really good players too. Like obviously a lot of former players went on, but we're talking like Hall of Fame player.
Bruce Bochy was a great manager, but he was just an average player as a catcher.
Right.
But no, I can't think of anybody that had the success of Jerry West every stage of his career.
It would have been interesting to see Larry Bird, because I thought he was a good coach. when he was with the Pacers for a couple of years.
But he'll tell you he wasn't comfortable as a coach.
Right, exactly.
He had staff
Mhm.
that he designated a lot to.
And that's why I said it'd been interesting if he would have done it for a while, like
But
a long time,
his
but he
heart
didn't.
wasn't in it.
You could tell it. Yeah, that was not his forte.
No, he was a player.
Mm-hmm. So,
and an awful good one.
Yeah.
I'd have loved to have been around locker rooms with him
Mm-hmm.
and around games, the way he reported, and I never heard it trash talked because they said he was far and away the best ever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd love to heard some of that.
Right. So, all right, let's take a quick break here, and we'll get back to some more Brewers chat too. We're going to throw a little green and gold chat as mandatory mini camps wrapping up here, but it sounds like in the next month or so we might have a couple of extensions done for the Packers, a couple of massive extensions done. One, obviously, Jordan Love, but Jordan Love kind of provided a little bit of an update a couple days ago. So we'll hit that up coming up here in just a little bit.
You're listening to the Dan Kasper Show.
Muldoon's Menswear on Hastings Way in Eau Claire offers more than just suits. They carry many brands of blue jeans and sports shirts, with all the top brands, including Stormy Cromer, Tommy Bahama, Pendleton. They are your place to go for Father's Day. Muldoon's Menswear, open since 1950. On a budget, they also have an outlet store attached. Stop in or visit them at muldoons.com or find them on Facebook.
Get ready to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, June 14th, with Jim Bob's Pizza. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
The Shoe Doctor is known for quality footwear. Remember, the Shoe Doctor can keep your feet comfortable during all the different outdoor weather and activities here in the Chippewa Valley. Work boots, casual shoes, sandals, and more from brands you trust like Keen, Merrill, Chaco, and Dansko, and that's just to name a few. Located on Claremont Avenue in Eau Claire, you can also visit them online at shoedoctorfootwear.com. The Shoe Doctor, quality footwear for work, sport, and fun.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
What seems to be the problem?
Doctor, thank goodness. My husband found out Cricket Wireless has 5G plans starting at $15 a month, and his jaw just dropped.
Did he hear about Cricket's blazing fast 5G?
Yep.
What about their reliable nationwide coverage?
Yes, that too.
I see. Unfortunately, there's no cure. But you will have really fast 5G.
Get jaw-droppingly fast 5G for $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Cricket 5G requires a compatible device and is not available everywhere. Video may be limited to SD. Fees may apply. Terms and restrictions apply. Subject to change. See store for details.
Hey, sports fans. Joe DeGuano here. When I'm not talking sports with Dan in the morning, I'm more than likely sitting on a bar stool at Courtney House. Most of the time with my lovely wife, but sometimes with clients, friends, or just by myself. Even though I've been coming up to Eau Claire on a regular basis for the last 11 years, I just permanently moved up here last August. Everyone knows we like to go out, but we hadn't found that old school corner bar where the bartender knows what I want even before I do. We finally found it at Courtney House. Whether it be my vodka gimlets made with love or 12-ounce hams on tap in a frosted mug, they've got me covered. And our go-to food choices are the grilled cheese with ham, the wings with homemade sauces, the BOGO burgers, or the Friday night fish fry. Heck, I'm there so much I even told the new owners I should have profit-sharing options. So if you're looking for that bar where everyone truly does know your name, it's time to make a Courtney House appearance. Courtney House, downtown Eau Claire, Grand Avenue. Tell you what, if you see me there the next time you go out, let me know. Your first one's on me.
Do you want to create a marketing campaign that's as refreshing as a perfectly mixed drink, but without the hangover? Then you need us, Midwest Family Eau Claire Marketing.
We're your marketing marketers that create campaigns that are tailored to your specific need.
Our talent will bring your back seats, backyard barbecues, and everywhere else you can imagine.
So if you're ready to raise your glass to success, contact us at MidwestFamilyEauClaire.com.
We're the perfect blended cocktail of creativity, experience, and a results-driven track record.
That's MidwestFamilyEauClaire.com.
More than the scores. More than the news. It's Sports Out the Squeaker. The Dan Kasper Show.
I'm playing the X-Files, Steve, because I need listeners' help here.
Right.
So last few days, we've had a few listeners saying there's a weird humming sound coming through the airway.
Don't blame me. I haven't been here.
There's like apparently it gets loud. Here's the thing though, when we go back and listen to the air check, we can't hear it. So there's this, and then when I've asked some people,
I know what you have to do.
What?
Have those listeners check their hearing aids. They're getting listeners feedback in their hearing aids.
No, so like some have said they've heard it, some have said they haven't. We go back to the air checks, we can't hear anything there. So if you hear it, record it on your phone and send it to me so I can send it to our engineer. I need the help there. So we got to figure out where this is coming from.
I don't have the answer.
Maybe the aliens are coming. We don't know.
My guess is a hearing aid.
I mean, some of them are younger individuals. So
No, they wear hearing aids. A lot of people wear hearing aids nowadays.
not our sales manager that's doing it. It's
Yes, they do. I got news for you, buddy.
No. So if you can do me a favor, if you're one of those that once in a while, and some of you have reached out to me, take your phone and record it. Turn it up. It's coming through the FM signal.
I was going to say, is it the FM?
Yeah, yeah. Apparently it's the FM. So if you hear it, record it so we can send it to our engineers so they can try to figure out what that's going on here. Because when we listen to the air check, there's nothing there. So, and I can't hear anything. You can't hear anything right now. Well, that's an Unsolved Mysteries episode because there is those, episodes where there's this weird noise somewhere and people are hearing it. So, but that's do us a solid and try to send that over if you can.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if it's isolated in one particular quadrant of the listening area. Is it all down south or is it all listeners a little north? It'd be interesting to see if that, if it's part of the signal going in a certain direction.
Right. That's what we got to try to narrow this thing down here. So, all right. Let's talk a little football here this morning. You want to know another player who's incredibly happy about Jeff Hafley and this defensive staff? That'd be Preston Smith. Here's what a quick comment that he had to say yesterday after mandatory minicamp practice. And he follows it up by a smile. So I'm sorry, Packers fans. We're not going to see Preston Smith lined up against Devontae Adams.
I hope not.
Which is of note, though, too. Remember Preston Smith, he began his career. Joe Barry was his position coach, too. So he has a long history with Joe Barry, time in Washington and now in Green Bay. So Preston Smith, the oldest man on the roster at the ripe old age of 30.
Is he really?
Yeah, 30. But saying, finally, I'm out here rushing more and get after the quarterback more.
Well, I hope they got some team speed that they can take advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't hand fight. They don't have the players that can hand fight an offensive line. They don't have the maulers that other teams do.
Kenny Clark, as we mentioned a couple days ago, too. Again, another guy, high praise for the system. But he also, as Kenny Clark summed it up as best, forget thinking, just go out there, which is a common theme. Rashawn Gary was saying the same thing the other day. Less thinking, just kind of pinning your ears back and getting after the quarterback there. But Kenny Clark kind of let it slip a couple days ago, too, that him and it sounds like his agent and the Packers have been talking about a contract extension.
How many years has he been in the league now?
He was drafted in 2016, but he's still 28 years old.
Okay.
He'll be 29 in October. He's coming off of last year where he had 7.5 sacks, his career high. But I also feel like I kind of wonder, have we seen the full potential of Kenny Clark, because he's been asked to play, hey, eat up some blockers and let the linebackers play. I hope he's still got some left so we can see it, because I think he hasn't been properly utilized a whole lot either.
Well, we've talked about that for years.
Mhm.
The poor guy gets in the middle and he's eating 2 or 3 blockers for linebackers that aren't in the hole, filling that hole the way they should. So hopefully this new defensive coordinator, Hafley, is going to, or Hafley, however he pronounces his name, is going to, fix that.
Yeah, and it sounds like he wants his defensive line to pin their ears back and go after it. So he said that the Packers and his agent have been talking about an extension. He's in his final year of his deal. Jordan Love also saying a couple days ago that's what he's heard about potential deal done before training camp. Brian Gutekunst said that about a week ago on 97.3, the game radio station Milwaukee, that they're talking, and his goal and their goal is to get it done before training camp, which is next month here. So Packers right now have a top 10 of available cap space. They're about 30 and some change over there. So they've got the ability. We know they're not going to sign a free agent this year. So they've got the ability to maybe do a couple of extensions and get it done and put those extensions on the cap hit this year.
If they wouldn't do Kenny Clark, how deep are they at defensive line? I guess that's something I haven't followed. You follow the linebackers, wide receivers, and the running backs, things like that. But I haven't followed the defensive line. Without Kenny Clark, what do they got?
Devontae Wyatt and a couple rookies from last year, but still kind of an unknown, right?
Yeah. So Kenny Clark is pretty much the rock for that defense, that front seven,
and still fairly young too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. And this is, at 28 or 29 years old, basically, this is probably his contract to get.
His last one, yeah, because he got a nice one before, but now
this is going to be his last one to set him and how many generations of his family up, which is fine. But and after he's 32 or 33, somebody might pick him up as a 1-year contract type of thing. But it's not going to be a huge multi-year contract that he's going to get now. So I hope the Packers do it right.
Yeah, and he's got the highest cap hit this year, so a new deal actually would lower the cap hit probably more likely this year too. So, but it sure sounds like, if you read between the tea leaves and everything, that the Packers trying to work on getting a couple of long-term extensions done before training camp. And every player has just talked about the vibe and the chemistry. Preston Smith was talking about again yesterday about what the energy's like. He's like, there's going to be some big things happening for the Green Bay Packers this year. Quay Walker the other day was answering Larry McCarron, and he said, and he calls him Mr. Larry. Mr. Larry, I would be lying if I didn't say that the chemistry here wasn't, awesome and all that sort of stuff. So,
well, you know why, and we all know why. They're not talking about one guy anymore.
No, you mean that guy that's on every front page right now in New York?
Yep.
Because he's got an inexcused absence at mandatory minicamp.
Yeah. So I guess they don't change their spots. They're still wearing the same spots, and he's going to carry his baggage with him wherever he goes. And New York's got to live with it now. Well, what he's going to do this year, I don't know, but they've got him pegged a lot of primetime games, and they're trying to build a team around him. But how much is he accepting of that? And, is he, they talk about other players. Does that make him mad that they're not talking about him?
I don't know, but yesterday he was on either the front or the back cover of the Post, picture of him and all the big words full of hot air, AAR, and then the Daily News call him Aaron Dodgers. They're going after him right now.
That's what I say. I hope he knows how to handle the New York press. It's a lot different than Green Bay, and they don't, those guys out there and gals in this media out in New York, they don't care if they're friends with you or not. Here in Green Bay, small town Green Bay,
they would go golfing with some of these guys.
Exactly. They want to, say that, I had a beer with Rogers or I played these guys in New York. They don't care. There are plenty of people they can play golf with and drink beer with in New York. And, if Rogers, they're going to treat Rogers the way he treats them the way he treats the team, and there's no holds barred in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had one of the Packers reporters literally tell me that he goes golfing with, or went golfing with a lot of the, they'll call him up to go golfing or something like that,
So you don't dare say anything bad about him, and otherwise he'll cut you right off. In New York, they don't cut me off. I don't care. I still got access to this team, and I've got access to you, whether you like it or not.
And that kind of just, back to the Packer thing though, too. It's like, what we were saying in the first hour with the Brewers, and someone was just kind of reflecting on a couple days ago. You hear it's nice. I think, if we had to say maybe the Bucks are now the team like we're a little bit worried about or kind of intrigued about, and like, okay, how are they going to, maybe make that jump? What are they going to do this offseason? But when it comes to the Brewers and the Packers right now, I mean, it's like, it's just fun watching these two teams. There's no drama surrounding them.
And I hope people are enjoying that too. There's not a lot of drama. There's no superstar look at me players on these teams.
Yeah.
Or leading these teams.
Right. Yeah. It's just, I'm glad you said leading too, even from like the coach's aspect of it all. It's just, I think that whole Jets thing was a PR blunder big time. I mean, here's the perfect example, in my opinion. Jair Alexander, Xavier McKinney, and Keyshawn Nixon were not at mandatory minicamp. Matt LaFleur comes out and says they did more work than what we expected them to. We excuse them. Aaron Rodgers did a lot in the offseason with the Jets. There's no denying that too. What are the Jets? How do they come out and say it? He had something that he was committed to. It's an inexcused absence. Because you threw out the word inexcused, that's why people are running with it right now.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime it's inexcused.
So it's like, there's your differences right there. Nobody's talking about that. The fact that Jair's missing mandatory minicamp.
And I wonder when the Jets are going to, and we don't know the final chapter in the Aaron Rodgers saga in New York by any means. They still got a season of football to play. But when are the Jets going to learn? The quarterbacks they get from Green Bay haven't been the easiest to deal with and most successful. Brett Favre was certainly not successful when he went to play for the Jets. What will happen with Aaron Rodgers, a lost season last year, and he's now the oldest player in the league, and I don't know what this season is going to be. None of us know, but we'll wait and see.
So Jordan Love, if you're listening, don't go to the Jets because it doesn't work out, just saying, and like 10, 12, 15 years, whatever the case may be. Doesn't work out for you either. So.
No, that hopefully is a long time down the road, and hopefully he'll just keep getting better.
Yeah. But that's just, I've been enjoying watching these updates kind of come through, but it is June. It's still the honeymoon phase. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy with the new regime and the new coaches. But if it don't work out when the games actually matter, then we're back to like, what the heck is wrong right now? What's going on? What's the dealio here?
So. Everybody's happy right now, but when the rubber meets the road, that's when they've got to perform.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So, all right. Should we do a little receiver defer coming up here in just a little bit? So we'll take a quick break, but before that, again, last call for any questions for Mr. Jake Bilks, our conservation warden, joining us at 8:30 for our outdoor tidbits. No stupid questions or anything like that. Send those on over. Text it to us what those questions are. 715-830-1912. We'll take a break, and then we'll get to a little receive or defer coming up after these few words.
Got a take on today's topics but can't call in? Then hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or the text line and let your fingers do the talking.
The Mobile Man Cave is hitting the road. The Dan Kasper Show and the Man Cave podcast are hitting the road to do some shows, podcasts, or going to a tailgate party. Wherever we end up, you will want to make sure to stop by and say hi and check out the Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM Mobile Man Cave. The Mobile Man Cave wouldn't be possible if it weren't for our awesome partners that are with us for every road trip. Big thanks to Toyson Ford, Woods and Water Realty, The Elbow Room, and Carpet City Flooring Center for being with us at every stop. We'll see you on the next road trip.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
Get ready to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, June 14th, with Jim Bob's Pizza. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Some people just know the more you protect, the more you save with Allstate, because they know insurance math. Like if you protect your home and auto, Allstate can save you up to 25%. So it's like losing money if you don't bundle. Save more when you protect more. Bundle home and auto with Allstate today.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, sports fans, Joe DeGuano here. When I'm not talking sports with Dan in the morning, I'm more than likely sitting on a bar stool at Courtney House. Most of the time with my lovely wife, but sometimes with clients, friends, or just by myself. Even though I've been coming up to Eau Claire on a regular basis for the last 11 years, I just permanently moved up here last August. Everyone knows we like to go out, but we hadn't found that old school corner bar where the bartender knows what I want even before I do. We finally found it at Courtney House. Whether it be my vodka gimlets made with love or 12-ounce hams on tap in a frosted mug, they've got me covered. And our go-to food choices are the grilled cheese with ham, the wings with homemade sauces, the BOGO burgers, or the Friday night fish fry. Heck, I'm there so much I even told the new owners I should have profit-sharing options. So if you're looking for that bar where everyone truly does know your name, it's time to make a Courtney House appearance. Courtney House, downtown Eau Claire, Grand Avenue. Tell you what, if you see me there the next time you go out, let me know. Your first one's on me.
Do you remember all those times playing in the backyard and daydreaming of either playing on your favorite sports team or dreaming about all the goals you wanted to accomplish in life? We still do that today. And that's why we created Backyard Dreams. We want to help people accomplish their goals, chase their passions, and achieve their dreams. Whether someone's dream is to attend a ball game, someone needs a new pair of basketball shoes, or a Little League team needs help going to a tournament, we want to help. And we need your help as well to help our community. To learn more about Backyard Dreams, just visit sportstalk1051.com.
So I got one email. There is a sound. I heard it. So thank you, John, for
Oh, really?
there is.
Okay.
So I just forwarded it on. Thank you, John. John, if you're listening still, just confirm if it was the FM that you were listening to so we can try to narrow this down and where. Maybe give me a little
Yeah, where you
location
live,
there.
you
So, but thank you, John. That's that. See, now we got the proof. Now we can go to our engineer and say, no. We don't have any crazy people. There is something going on, right?
Well, I don't know if we don't say we don't have any crazy people.
But no, seriously, that helps. So thank you, John, for recording that and sending it on over here too. Just let me know if that was FM, and that way we can try to narrow this down, because we can't hear it. We go back and we can't hear it on our air check. So there's got to be something going around here somewhere. So we'll get on it for sure. All right, let's do a little receive or defer this morning. Should we go back to that receiver defer that you had in the first hour? Revisit that?
Yeah, trading Adames would be more unpopular with Brewer fans than when they traded Josh Hader.
I think right now I might receive that. Right now.
I will too, because we've gotten Gosser, and unfortunately he's done for the year, more than likely. He started off like a house of fire this year, but he's gone now. So again, we're looking at nothing for the Hader trade for the rest of this year. And I don't know what I just don't think if they traded Adames, and I don't want to see them trade him, they would get enough back.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't, because teams are going to want Adames are independent run.
Right.
So now you're going to get young talent like we got for Hader. Was it Gosser? Well, it's been 2 or 3 years since that trade was made.
Mm-hmm.
And Brewers are in the thick of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do that again, Adonatowicz or whatever his name is, Anatomich, what?
Mark Adonazio.
Adonazio, that's the guy's name. Between he and Giannis, I don't know why we got such tough names.
Well, and Giannis is part owner of the Bucks too, remember?
I know, there you go. But if Adonazio would trade Hader, if he would trade Adames right now, and all of a sudden season went into a tailspin, he won't be able to show up. He'd have to sit in the box because he couldn't sit in the stands.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think given right now where they're at, 7 games ahead, and sitting there with 40 wins, no way do you do that. No,
and I just don't think he could.
Nope. What else you got?
Well, I had one about Jerry West. We talked about a receiver for Jerry West had more influence on his sport from the time he was in high school through his executive than any other person in any sport. And I think we both agreed that probably that's true.
I know we had a couple people text in Joe Torre, talking about, another guy who I know he won an MVP as a player
He
one
won
year.
an MVP as a player. He won the World Series. He went into the front office, but after he went into the front office, the Yankee, he never did anything as far as a front office guy to make the Yankees a winner again. So I don't think he had the success. But Joe Torre,
as a manager,
he
was
very successful. But I don't think he had the overall lifelong influence that Jerry West had.
Maybe that is the closest in baseball, though, is Joe Torre.
Very possible.
Good player. Obviously won a lot as a manager for the Yankees.
The guy couldn't run fast enough to get warm, and he won the batting title.
Yeah.
Some of those. So, he didn't leg out many infield hits like some of these guys can. So what a hitter he was, but and a great manager, as he proved, winning World Series for the Yankees. But then he went to the Cardinals and just from the Braves. Great player, great manager, but I can't say he was great in the front office.
No. I was trying to think too, like Jeter was so quick in Miami, we never really got to see, and I know it was differences of opinion apparently over there too. So not even close to enough of a sample size. Gretzky tried a little bit, but that didn't really work out. So,
and I know, as you mentioned, Jeter, he went from the field to being an executive. He never was a manager. He never was a general manager. He went to ownership, and that didn't work.
No. So, there isn't anybody else like Jerry West, and I honestly don't know if there will be.
No, I don't know. I don't know either. No.
I'll throw this question out just because we were talking about the logo, and I brought it up yesterday. So let's say the NFL decided to change their logo, and it was going to be a play or a player or something like how the NBA's got Jerry West, even though they won't acknowledge it. Receiver defer should be Dwight Clark's catch, that logo, that image. So I was trying to think of an iconic image.
Idea. Yeah, that's not a bad one at all. No, the NFL would want to do something like that. That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have no problem with that.
Because I mean, quarterback. I mean, you can make it generic or whatever. But if we were to take an iconic
it'd have to be Brady. That would be it.
Yeah, but I was like that image of. I mean, we can all picture it right now, right?
Yep.
Jumping up, catching a football,
back of the end zone against the Cowboys.
Yep. That would be the one I think that comes to my head.
That would be a good one. Yeah, that would be a good one.
Because it just encompasses almost everything about football right there. You know,
does.
that play and such. So, you got any more over there?
Yeah. Okay, here I'll time. Receiver deferred. Tiger will make the cut and Phil Mickelson will not.
Well, Tiger's still tied for second right now because McAllister is 2 under through 7, but Tiger's still 1 under.
And this is
over
just
there.
guessing, obviously, but
no, he's winning it all now. I mean, come on. I think Tiger makes it. I don't think Phil makes it. I'll go with that. Yeah, I'll receive it.
It'd be interesting to watch he and Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau. Is he going to be in the mix here? Because he hits the ball so far on his drives, he can hit a lot shorter irons into these greens that you talked about earlier. It's like putting on blacktop.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see. But I think DeChambeau will probably be in the mix again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come on, Tiger, just do it. Just go into, just get into the contention there.
Well, I'd like to see it just for golf.
Yeah. Golly, man. How about this? Since we're golf, I'm going to throw in one in here because Jack talked about this the other day. Receiver deferred, they should move the Memorial Day tournament so it's not a week right before the major. Maybe make it a little bit more standalone because Jack kind of alluded like they'd like it, a different week, maybe a couple weeks before.
Well, it used to be, I think when it first started, it was Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And now it got bumped back. And I agree with him. It's too big a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Jack's tournament is a big tournament. And these guys, I would think the major players would like a little downtime before they go into a tournament as tough as the U.S. Open and as tough as that golf course is that Jack put together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was on the last day. I think there was one birdie on the last hole.
Mm-hmm.
These are the best players in the world because the best players in the world were at that tournament. So I agree with him. I think, too, it should be moved.
I agree. I would receive that. You know, I know we've talked about should the Tour Championship be the other major and such, but if there was like another, I put the Memorial as one of the more prestigious ones out there.
Oh, there's no question. Yeah,
you know, and I think, I know other players have their own tournaments or label. Arnold's, what was Bay Hill, but the Memorial, I think even just casual fans know Memorial.
Well,
what that is.
especially since Jack is still with us.
Yep.
And Arnold's gone. That was always prestigious to meet Arnold after the 18th hole. But I agree. I'd like to. I know I heard him talking about that he wasn't happy that they moved that right in front of the U.S. Open, and I think too it could and should be moved. And I think this is what the PGA is getting into. They're restricting where in the country they're playing. They're not playing in our area anymore.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Wisconsin. Are they playing in Michigan? I looked at the next few U.S. Opens through like 37, and they're not going to be around here.
No, they're not.
Not even close.
It's almost kind of like scheduling college football matchups right now for how far in advance that they're doing these.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they're going to be at Pinehurst again in about 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be at, Torrey Pines. They're going to be out at Pebble Beach. They're going to be at some of those iconic golf courses that we've always seen.
I got one more golf one.
All right.
I want to ask you, your answer, but I want to see if you're going to get fired up about it. So we had the AmFam Championship last weekend.
Yep.
Ernie Els defeats Stricker. That putt, I'm sure you saw the missed putt by Stricker there.
Yep.
Ernie Els might have let something slip in his victory speech, though.
I didn't hear what he said.
2025 for the AmFam Championship, where it's going to be at TPC, Wisconsin now, could be a team event.
I was out just a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old Cherokee Golf Course on the northeast side of Madison.
Mm-hmm.
I was a member there for years and years and years before I moved up here. And Stricker went in there and just redid the whole course. And they've just kind of reopened it now for play. And, it was a great course for amateurs. I don't know, and it was restricted with houses around it and everything else. And I've driven on the back of the course. I went in the back, number 6, where it comes off in the back of the course, up to 7, 8, and 9 to the clubhouse. But I don't know how much of a challenge that's going to be. I haven't been on the course itself. I just been around the perimeter. I don't know where they're going to park people. There's no place to park there because it's condos from the edge of the clubhouse all the way up in houses. There's a Catholic church across the street. Behind that Catholic church is their practice area now because there's no room on the golf course for a practice area. And then it's swamp. And you get on the road, and it's Stricker's house and his father-in-law, Dennis Tiziani, his wife's dad. And they've got two great big, huge mansions down there. And I mean huge mansions. I don't know where they're going to park. I really don't. Everybody's going to have, I mean, I'm talking everybody. It's going to have to be bussed into that place because Cherokee, it's Cherokee Marsh. It's a swamp. They had to get special permission years ago to drain the swamp to build the golf course. So the challenge to me is looking at it, first of all, is it long enough for these guys? And it's a flat golf course. It's a flat golf course. There aren't, hills at all. And they didn't build any in that I saw with, I know they moved tons and tons and tons of dirt. And this is just my observation from the outside looking in. I was on the edge of the course. I was on part of the course, but I didn't see a lot of changes as far as, making the direction of the course a whole lot different. I understand they rerouted a couple holes, which I don't understand how they're going to do it. But obviously they know more about golf course architecture than I do. But I don't know where they're going to put people. I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so a little bit here. This is from Wisconsin.golf. Miller Brady, president of the PGA Tour Champions. A couple of quotes here. One, there was a quote about Tiger Woods potentially playing because he'll turn 50 in 2026, about whether he would be interested in playing in the Champions Tour, because that's kind of the big question right now. Is that something, that he'd be? Apparently, he's had conversations with Stricker and Ernie Els about his interest in playing in the champ. But that would be a huge boost for that tournament. If Tiger
I'll
Woods.
tell you one thing. Stricker's got plenty of room to house him from the house he lives in. He got plenty of room. Tiger is going to have more room just in a wing of Stricker's house than he would if he took over our whole houses. I mean, it's a beautiful house. He deserves it. He's made a lot of money, and he's, it's kind of his own empire there now.
Mm-hmm.
But they changed the name from Cherokee to the TPC of Wisconsin. And I hope they can make it work because, I'd love to go back there and walk around that course where I played hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of rounds of golf.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's going to look like because I didn't get on the course. The clubhouse is huge. They got 8 tennis courts inside the clubhouse and all kinds of things like that. But I just don't. I mean, you got all the officials and all the volunteers. Then you got the crowd coming in there. In the parking lot's not any bigger than a church parking lot. It's not like you got a huge parking area. The parking lot at the church across the street is bigger than the parking lot they've got at the golf course. So I'm sure they've got the challenges all worked out. They have to. But then you've got where are you going to park the TV trucks?
Yeah.
They take a lot of room.
Yep.
For all their production work. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out.
A little bit more here. It says a team format for one of its events would be welcomed by many of its players, Brady told Wisconsin.golf, without impacting the AmFam Championship's role in raising money for charity throughout southern Wisconsin. But Ernie said, I don't know if I should make it public now. This was in his victory speech, but I'm going to. My partner, I probably announce, would be Tim Herron. Me and Timmy are going to play next year. I've known Tim maybe longer than I've known Steve, so he's my man. So,
Tim Herron from over Minnesota, yeah.
Yep. So,
well, that'd be. I don't know what kind of a format they would have. I just at that level of golf, I'm not excited. Once a year, maybe. I know they have it on the PGA Tour that they have the team golf in New Orleans, and if they can make it work, fine. I'm not a big fan of that. Live Golf does that. They have teams. I don't know. I still don't know how in the world it all works, and I don't really care because I don't follow it. But if they
Tiger and Stricker together in 2026.
I thought about that. That would be.
I would go down and watch that in a heartbeat.
And that's what I mean. They'd have to park people in Milwaukee and drive them in buses. I mean, it would be. You don't plan to drive and park at the golf course, get out and walk to the gate. You're going to have to be bussed.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it. I mean, Warner Park, the where the mallards play, the duck pond.
Yep.
That's a couple miles down the hill, down Sherman Avenue. There'll be parking there, and then bus them up over the hill. But that would be limited. They've got a big shopping center across the street that not doing very well. They could put a few hundred cars in there, but I mean, not like the thousands of cars you need. They've got some work to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I found out this year, actually, there's some tournament, high schools golf here. They do that. There's some tournaments where they've got a partner team event there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Like, I never did that, but I saw that that there was one because Medford was doing it where they had partners with her, and I was like, that's kind of new too. So
yeah, that is new. I didn't know that.
But
at that level, these guys are so good. I just I'm not a big fan of team golf in the pros. Once or twice, it's a unique event. It's kind of fun, but I'm not sure how they would do it. Everybody play their own ball for the whole tournament, and then you just
best score, best ball, best shots.
If you do have alternate shots or things like that, I don't know, but they can make it work, I suppose. But if Tiger and Stricker were a team, because you would think the natural team would be Stricker and Jerry Kelly,
right?
Both from Madison,
Team Wisconsin.
They live about 10 miles apart, if that, from in Madison where they are, Maple Bluff and Cherokee. But I don't know. Tiger and Steve Stricker would be
and they're friends. So,
they're very good friends.
Yep.
Very good friends.
Yep. So
interesting to follow.
That might be Wisconsin's way of getting Tiger back to play some rounds back in Wisconsin too.
Oh yeah,
Never
been here a lot.
Yep.
Well, Milwaukee, you got a great start.
Yeah. 2 in. We got one more to go. Stick around. We'll be back after these news updates.
WAYY Eau Claire, W286CK Eau Claire, Sports Talk 105.1 and 790 AM. Sports Talk 105.1 with the very latest local news.
Well, good morning. Here's what we're learning today. Prosecutors are charging a couple with child neglect after 4 children in a home tested positive for cocaine. This happened in the Cudahy area. Officers say they arrived at a house after a woman, Ashley Chappelle, reported a child foaming at the mouth. Responders say that child was unconscious, was taken to the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin and tested positive for cocaine. 3 more kids out of 7 living in the home also reportedly testing positive. Ashley and Antonio Chappelle were arrested but are now out of jail after posting bail. In other headlines that bring us closer to our area, there's a warning from police about fake jewelry. This is in the Menominee area. Say they've gotten a few calls from people who were offered or who bought what they thought was gold jewelry, only for it to turn out to be fake. Jewelers say there are some things you can look for: quality stamps, things like color. Make sure what you have is real. Well, after HSHS hospitals left the Chippewa Valley, a lot of patients were left scrambling. And now in Chippewa County, it also means they're looking for a new morgue. St. Joseph's Hospital, of course, closing this spring, with the county administrator in that area, Randy Scholes, saying the county is looking for a new spot to build a morgue, but it will cost at least $750,000 to renovate a building and likely cost more to build a new one from scratch. But for now, the county says they're using space at a funeral home in Altoona. From the bench, it's a ban on the van. There won't be any voting vans in Wisconsin this year, as the state Supreme Court unanimously agreed to ban the use of mobile voting units. That came from the Racine County area, where there was a clerk there that used a van to collect absentee ballots in a number of polling places across town. The judge struck the idea down, saying there's nothing in Wisconsin law that allows for mobile voting vans. And a punch to the gut for Joey Chestnut. When it comes to competitive eating, he will not be back for the 4th of July Nathan's hot dog eating contest. At least that's the rumor. He's currently banned.
And I do have a lot of confidence that one way or another we'll resolve this. But it really, in large part, I think, is in Joey's hands.
Chestnut won't be allowed to compete in the popular contest in Brooklyn because he signed an agreement with a rival food brand. So basically, it was kind of an issue with the contract. But George Shea, continuing here, co-founder of the Major League Eating organization, saying,
it's very hard to have a rival brand pop in and give some money to one of the eating stars and then pull all of the press away from the contest, or a lot of it. That's the fundamental problem. We've tried and we will continue to try. And if he's not representing a rival brand, he's welcome back anytime.
Hey, that's what we were doing to the new recipe for the Man Cave Light.
We've tried and we will continue to try.
But yeah, it's good. It's cold. It's refreshing. I'd throw it in the cooler, but Kasper swears it's like
eating stars.
For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
As our showers and storms depart, we can expect some sunshine early,
but a few clouds then roll in and give way to a chance at a midday shower or two. Those clouds then push out and give way to more sunshine going into the afternoon, with our temperatures climbing to the low 80s, a little bit of noticeable mugginess, staying mostly clear for tonight before setting up a gorgeous end to the work week. Plenty of sunshine and highs near 80. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
Muldoon's Menswear on Hastings Way in Eau Claire offers more than just suits. They carry many brands of blue jeans and sports shirts, with all the top brands, including Stormy Cromer, Tommy Bahama, Pendleton. They are your place to go for Father's Day. Muldoon's Menswear, open since 1950. On a budget, they also have an outlet store attached. Stop in or visit them at muldoons.com or find them on Facebook.
With Wendy's $3 English muffin deal, you don't just get a breakfast, you get a proper meal. Get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg and cheese English muffin sandwich with small seasoned potatoes. Grab yours today. Terms apply.
From the hardwood and the diamond to the gridiron and the course, Dan's got you covered with his trademark blend of sports passion and knowledge. He has the sports info you want and the sports therapy you need. So get your game face on, people.
Let's go get some bell, huh? Put up a shut-up turn. We gotta get it started from the jump. Play big, let's go. That's what legends made, man. It's showtime. Welcome to the big leagues. Let's go.
Because it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Third hour kicking off right now on this Thursday morning. Big thanks for tuning in, everybody, wherever, however you may be tuning in from. Coming up at the bottom of the hour here, we'll do a little outdoor tidbits with DNR Conservation Warden, Mr. Jake Bolks. Thank you to those of you who have sent in questions. So we've got our questions for today. If you got any others, save them for next week. Just make sure you text them in right away so that we can include them in our conversation with Jake. Coming up at the bottom of the hour. Brewers off day today for the crew before they embark on a 3-game series in Milwaukee against the Cincinnati Reds. And right now in the NL Central, at least, it's kind of a race for second place because the Brewers are up 7 games over the Cubs, the Reds, and the Cardinals, and the Pirates are 7.5 back. So they're just a half game back from everybody else in this Central Division so far.
Oh, yeah, it's not over yet.
No.
I mean, it's nice to have a 7-game lead, but let's face it, it's a long season. And I'll tell you, with this, the Brewers to be commended, I mean, from the top down, with what's been going on with this pitching staff, and to be where they're at, it's remarkable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, what is the number? I think 12 different starters they've had so far.
Yeah, and some for 1 inning.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been remarkable,
right? Like 12 different starters for the Brewers so far this year, and honestly, that number's probably going to go up. It's just odds are, it's going to go up. They've done it without their all-star closer, with Devin Williams still out and probably not going to be back until the end of July. So, yeah, dudes that we've never heard about before are stepping up in big-time moments and making names for themselves.
Boy, they really are, and it's been fun to watch this team. They're underdogs, but they're overachievers.
Mm-hmm. You know, going back to that double steal yesterday, and this kind of relates to a piece that was done on The Athletic about how the Brewers coaches have been, and the way I understood it, it was a little bit of a change, but how they prepare for their matchups and for their games, so they don't just kind of, scout the opposing pitcher. They do some advanced scouting, and they look at other tendencies and that. And this was a piece a few days ago on The Athletic. But then after yesterday's game, and this was from Brewers.com, talking about that double steal. Here's a little nugget. It says the Brewers have had that play in their back pocket since spring training and have deployed it when the combination of base runners, game situation, and opposing battery is right. recent results with runners in scoring position, quote, always plays in decisions as well, Murphy said, though that's an area that the Brewers have been good at this season before their recent funk. They came into Wednesday 5th in the majors in average and OPS with runners in scoring position. In this instance, the Brewers knew from their advanced scouting how the Blue Jays would defend the play when Terang took off. On the other side of the diamond, Perkins was ready. Perkins said, I know if Bryce ends up going, I just need to see the throw go, see him throw and trust it. We worked on that a lot in spring training, and then obviously we've done it quite a bit this season. So,
yep, advanced scouting, and in so many cases, these teams have, you don't hear about scouts like you used to. They've eliminated many of their scouting teams or their scouting crew because of the numbers, the computer, and this, that, and the other thing. But still, eyes on the game are a whole lot better than a computer for some of these types of things. So, accumulating numbers and seeing what the numbers mean, computer can decipher all that in a big hurry. But still, the eyes of these veterans on the game, on the players, on their reactions, you can bet that advanced scouting was done by human beings and not by computers.
And you see it a lot these last few years too. If you're watching a game, whether it's an outfielder or I've seen it with the first baseman or the infielders, they take something out of their pocket, right, and they look at a little piece of paper, and it's got the notes and scouting.
Outfielders in their hats.
Yep. They're in their hats too. I think I saw it yesterday. The Blue Jays first baseman took something out, was looking at something. I mean, you've seen that more. Than coming up in these last few years here too.
And it's just a little sheet of paper. You'd like to know what's on there.
Yeah.
Because they've got to have everybody in the lineup, I would think. I mean, what they put on there.
It reminds me of, I remember sometimes in school, if we'd have finals in high school, the teacher would allow you a 3x5 note card with notes on there.
Yeah.
And then you'd have the people with the smallest type font on there trying to type everything to fit everything on there and trying to read that. So that's what it reminds me of. That's that cheat sheet that we always get allowed there too.
But I'd love to see what's on there.
Yeah.
Or do they do it for all the players in the batting order or just a few? I don't know.
Yeah. Because, you're seeing, the outfielders, that's the first thing right before the batter. They're checking something and where they're lined up and such. So, but I thought that was an interesting nugget with that double play that I think a lot of Brewers fans were talking about yesterday. I was talking about it with people were asking me about it yesterday at the Express game.
Oh, yeah. Double steals are fun to watch.
Yeah. And just a few days ago when they talked about the players have talked about or praised about the advanced scouting, and here you go. There was an example of that yesterday where they knew what the Blue Jays were going to do.
And every team reacts differently. A lot of teams will go for the runner going from first to second because the guy from second to third, he's really got to be on top of the pitcher and his motion and everything else. Chance of getting him is less than getting the guy at second because he might not be running as hard all out as he should or whatever, but Brewers did it well.
Yeah. So just another example of, this team that is just, I think is a lot of Brewers fans really, really embracing so far this year. Just a couple of nuggets here. I was kind of curious where they're still at with stolen base. Nobody's going to catch Ellie De La Cruz, individual wise, but
where's he at?
Ellie De, let me bring it up individual here. Stolen base because I had it on team here. He's at 34. I guess never say never. Bryce Terang's in second at 24, so he's 10 back.
Oh, he's right up there.
So he and I guess and Ellie De La Cruz has actually played 4 more games, really. So maybe. Because he was on that pace where they were talking about, is he going to get 100 this year? But
I remember early in the season, yeah.
But his batting average is at 228.
You got to get on base.
So
stolen base.
Yeah. Whereas Terang, he's hitting 294. He's getting on base here. So, but team-wise, Brewers are just 5 back from the overall team lead. It's interesting when you look at how this is. Washington's got 100 stolen bases. They've played in 67 games. Cincinnati's got 98. They played in 68, and the Brewers have 95. Then there's a little bit of a down. The team with the fourth most is Philadelphia at 73. So you're talking about 22 more stolen base. And then there's a little bit more of a down. Then 5 through 7 are all in the 60s right now. But you got this team, and that was one of the things I remember in preseason. I wanted to see more of, and I think you probably want to see more of too. and they're utilizing that speed. I know AJ Hinch talked about it after the Tiger series, where he talked about the Brewers' speed and just how much speed that they got on there. And they finally feels like they're utilizing that.
And the nice thing about it, these players in the field, for the most part, are staying healthy. It's the pitching staff that is unfortunately having all the injuries. But they're not having pulled muscles and sprained ankles, and these guys are in good shape. And boy, they're running.
Mm-hmm. Brewers 4th in the majors in batting average right now.
Wow.
Yeah, Padres, Astros, and Dodgers, the only teams ahead of them. Actually, they're tied. They're tied with the Yankees, it looks like, but the Yankees have 2 more games, so it looks like they gave the advantage to the
when
Brewers
you get guys on base, pitcher's got to be, when there's nobody on base, he's focused on the hitter. And he's still focused on the hitter every time the hitter comes up. But if there's guys on base, it divides his focus a little bit. It has to. Because you watch them, they might all of a sudden, when there's nobody on base, same routine as far as the pitching. When there's somebody on base, they've got to change that routine. Maybe it takes an extra second to go to home plate. Maybe, they'll come over to first base. So it all plays off. One plays off the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Brewers have a nice mix going right now.
And the Brewers actually, too, now a top 10 team. They're number 9 in team ERA for pitching.
That's remarkable with the injuries to the staff.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of going through it. I'm like, they're probably going to be middle pack, maybe at best. Now number 9 in team ERA.
Where are they in defense helps into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they as far as team defense? Are they up? Because they don't. I have been to 3 or 4 games already this year, and I don't know if I've seen them make an error yet. And they don't seem to make a lot of errors. And of course, that always helps your pitcher. So I don't know where they are as far as team defense is concerned, but I would think they'd be pretty decent in that area as well.
Let me see if I can find that here for you. Coming up here, it might take me just a few minutes to do that.
Well, but I mean, it's just a thought. You play the game as pitchers depend on that defense. Some guy climbs a wall and brings a home run back in, and pitcher gets down on his knees almost and bows to the guy. I mean, that makes a big difference. There's no question. So team defense, I think, goes a long way towards ERA. Besides, obviously, the pitchers are the main focus, but that team defense, that double play at just the right time, or some of these catches that these guys can make, going into the hole and knocking the ball down, keeps a runner at third rather than letting him score. A lot of things play into the ERA besides just the pitcher.
Yeah, so this one is from Odds Shark. They got like an overall score, team score here. Brewers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8th best score on
that's
there.
Good.
I'm trying to find, because I know Major League Baseball has one over there.
Yeah,
so
but I think it just shows that the Brewers defense is pretty good too, and that every pitcher will tell you. You got guys behind you. You got 7 guys behind you that are making plays. My job is a whole lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And the Brewers are doing that too. And I'm sure the pitchers will be the first one to recognize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So let me see if I can. Is this from Fangraphs? Maybe this will have a better updated one. I'll maybe check it during the break here and get some better ones over there too. So, but
a lot of factors, but the bottom line is right now, the Brewers are in the upper half of the league in just about every statistic rather, offense and defense.
Yep.
And that's what it takes to win. There's no real weakness on this team. Hopefully this injuries to these pitchers will not turn out to be a weakness. But right now, this team is doing what it has to do in all aspects of the game. And that goes a long way to this coaching staff. Murphy and the same guys coming back. But what are they doing? I mean, they, under Counsell, it was never exciting to watch them. I don't know if they ever double steal in Counsell's tenure as manager, but stealing was, I think Yelich probably stole the most, and I think he did it pretty much on his own.
Yeah.
I don't think Counsell ever called for a lot of that.
No, because Yelich was the base stealer last year, and wasn't he in the 20s? I think, and
something like that.
Terang's already got 24.
Yeah, and I don't think Counsell called for a lot of those. And I don't know if Terang's got the green light Or if, and then they just tell him, okay, you got a green light, but not now. Let this guy hit or whatever the case may be. I don't know. But I think it's fun to watch this team because you never know what they're going to do on the bases and who's going to take off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, according to the Fielding Bible right now, 2024, the Brewers are the 9th best in team defensive runs saved. Team defensive runs saved. So it looks no big surprise, but the one position where they're really effective at is second base, Bryce Terang over there. So it looks like he's got a 7 on there, if I'm reading this correctly. There's a lot of info to try to, but yeah, they're of the total amount of points here, they're 9th best. Toronto is actually number 1, it looks like, and then the Yankees are at number 2. So, but that's again, everybody's kind of has their own different one out there too. So, but yeah, speed. Ortiz and Terang and Willie Adames is pretty solid over there. Blake Perkins, I mean.
Good gloves. Well, and they talk about all these guys. Well, if he has to, he could play shortstop or he could play second or third. That tells you that these guys are pretty good with the glove, no matter where they're playing.
Right. Exactly. So, off day today, though. So no game today, which is a downer. But, hey, they need their off day.
Yeah, they got to have an off day, too. That's a lot of work.
I'll be curious to see, though, when it comes to that trade deadline next month, when it comes to pitchers, because we are seeing, a lot of these youngsters get opportunities. Tobias Myers, his last couple games have been awesome. We know Robert Gasser's done this year, but future looks good for him. Aaron Ashby, Freddie Peralta. So if they acquire a pitcher or two, to me, it's going to be interesting. Do they try to bring in a veteran where it's just a rental for this year, which may be a little cheaper, or do they try to get somebody that has more control? But then you're kind of like, where do we fit everybody?
You got that, and I don't know if they could find another CC Sabathia, who they know would be just that year. He's not coming back. He's going to the Yankees for big money. But could they find a guy like that? But if you trade Adames for a guy like that
Corbin Burns?
That's a no. Corbin Burns isn't coming back to Milwaukee.
No.
I'm surprised Baltimore hasn't signed him to a long-term contract yet because he's been pitching very well.
He's been awesome. I mean, that guy is going to get paid this offseason.
Yeah. And, the trend for the past few years has been starters haven't been getting those huge contracts. Well, Scherzer and a couple other ones have.
Garrett Cole got a big one when he went to the
Garrett Cole and what's his name down in Houston?
Verlander,
thank you. They've got, and I don't think those guys have lived up to their contracts at all. They've been, I think all three of them are, well, Verlander I think is back, but Scherzer and Cole are still in the minor leagues rehabbing.
Yeah, I'd have to double check it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So, and I don't know if there is that. I don't think there is that CC Sabathia type pitcher out there.
No, I don't see him out there either. I don't know who it would be from a team that has a pitcher like CC Sabathia that would not be looking at making the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's interesting. Last couple of years when we've talked about Brewers, putting their chips in and going for it, take advantage of their starting pitching and all that, and here we are. They're 7 games up in first place without that pitching. And it's kind of been the offense like, okay, now do they put their chips in and try to get more pitching to help them out? It's going to be fun to watch.
What is the update on Darren Williams? Obviously, he's not a starter.
Devin Williams.
Devin Williams.
End of July, it still seems like. So, yeah.
What about Woodruff? I mean, he's out for the year, but is he throwing yet or soft toss or anything like that? Have we got any updates on him at all?
I haven't seen anything as of late now.
I know he won't help him this year, but, they're sure allowing him to heal. And I hope he rewards them by staying in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Because the Brewers, I think, have bent over backwards to accommodate him and his injury.
Yeah,
which is nice.
And he's got that 2-year deal too, so should be back. But again, it's going to be whether he's going to be back to himself or what.
Yeah, that's always going to be the question with major injuries like that.
And I'll be curious too. Does maybe the option is maybe he's not a starter anymore? If to kind of extend his career, does he go to the bullpen and become a relief pitcher that way? We've seen starters do that.
Oh yeah.
Try to extend their careers. So it's That shoulder one, though, too, and I know we've talked to Dr. Crow about it, too. It's not a for sure thing that he can be able to come back and be effective with that recovery, too. So,
what's his name for the Braves? He's the announcer now.
Smoltz.
John Smoltz. Great starter. And maybe he was even a better reliever pitcher coming in as a closer. So, those guys can do it.
Yep. Some more nuggets about the Brewers defense, by the way. Defensive efficiency. This is from Baseball Reference. 3, 4, 5, 6th best in the entire majors. Runs allowed per game, they're top 10. It looks like on there too. So, yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 on there. But yeah, so defensively, top 10 unit.
Yep,
Out
and
there too.
so many categories, offense and defense, they're in the top of Major League Baseball, and that bodes well for where you are in the standings.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll have some outdoor tidbits with Mr. Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden. Big thanks to everybody with your questions. Again, if you got any more, hold on to them. We'll get to them next week here. So we'll take that break, and we'll get to Jake coming up here in just a few minutes.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Get on the bus with us when Milwaukee takes on Minnesota on July 21st in Minnesota. For just $95, you will get a game ticket and round-trip motor coach transportation. Just head to wiscotrips.com or this station's website for more information and to purchase your tickets. This will be the first series for both of these teams after the All-Star break, which means the run for the postseason will start to get hot. So don't miss your chance to see these two teams in another Border Battle Classic. Get your tickets now by visiting wiscotrips.com or this station's website.
Get ready to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, June 14th, with Jim Bob's Pizza. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
A lot of folks around here are breathing easier because of Grace Home Respiratory. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory is a local company that puts customer service first. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory provides an array of medical equipment, services, and supplies to help their recovery and enhance their quality of life. They appreciate that Grace Home Respiratory has the experience and qualifications that exceed their expectations. So when you need home medical equipment and services, turn to Grace Home Respiratory not only for the equipment you need, but for their dedicated staff of respiratory therapists who are on call 24 hours a day. To find out more, call Grace Home Respiratory at 715-832-7377 or online at ghr-ec.com.
Grace Home Respiratory always has your health and safety as their top priority. Your expert when it comes to medical equipment and supplies. Choose Grace Home Respiratory.
So what's on Dad's wish list for Father's Day this year? Hey, listen up before you decide on another boring gift that Dad will pretend to like, but honestly, it will probably be tucked away in the closet. This Father's Day, get something for Dad that he truly wants and truly needs. That's a new deer hunting rifle or turkey shotgun from Tilden Gun. Locally owned and operated, Tilden Gun has the biggest selection in the Chippewa Valley, and all at the best price. Sean and Hunter will also work with you to help you find just what you're looking for Dad this year. So you can either visit tildengun.com and check out their selection and order online and pick up at Tilden Gun. It's super easy to do that, by the way. Or visit Tilden Gun and chat with Sean and Hunter and let them help you find that perfect gift for Dad. And if you're not quite sure what's best for Dad, hey, they'll help you because that's the type of customer service you get from Tilden Gun. Honor Dad this year with an epic Father's Day gift from Tilden Gun. Visit them today at 12427 98th Avenue, Chippewa Falls. And don't forget to check out tildengun.com. Fire up the grills and smokers. It's grilling season, Wisconsin. Whether you're a charcoal or gas griller, or you prefer a pellet grill or smoker, you still need to use the best cuts and quality meats. And you can find that at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From high quality steaks to many flavors of brats, Mike's Star Market has something for everyone. So if you're inviting friends and family over to show off your barbecuing skills, make sure you take advantage of a great teammate in Mike's Star Market and their lineup of quality meats. Mike's Star Market, deliberately old-fashioned to assure quality and affordability.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
ServiceMaster of Chippewa Valley is your local expert when it comes to fire and water damage, carpet and air duct cleaning, mold remediation, and trauma. They're when you need them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trust comes in the yellow truck. Learn more at ServiceMasterChippewaValley.com.
The latest sports news, scores, opinion, and commentary. If that's not enough, you should seek professional help. The Dan Kasper Show.
Coming up towards the back end of the hour, we'll get to some picks and predicts. If you haven't gotten your picks in yet, or maybe you want to throw in a pick for the U.S. Open, you can do so by just shooting us a quick text over there. So we'll include it in our picks and predicts coming up in about 15 minutes or so. It's time, though, for a little outdoor tidbits.
Answering your questions and giving you the tips you need to be successful and safe in the outdoors. It's time for your outdoor tidbits. Have a question you'd like answered by Jake? Send it to us, and we'll ask for you.
Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden for the great state of Wisconsin, joining us now for our outdoor tidbits. Jake, how are you doing on this fine Thursday morning?
I'm doing good. Another great Thursday, and happy to be on the show with you.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate it, man, and we've got a few questions ready to rock and roll here. So let's jump right into it. First off, we had a texter, first-time texter, so thank you for that. Asking question for the warden, kind of a two-parter. What is the latest on the use of the live scope, and do you ever foresee a sandhill crane season?
Yeah, good questions. So the live scope question, that made some headlines because it was in the spring. The thing about the spring hearings is that it's strictly a advisory, I guess, questionnaire. What the fisheries program, the wildlife program, the Conservation Congress, or the Natural Resource Board do with those questions is they just look at them and go, was there a lot of support either one way or the other on if this is something we should even consider, working on, enacting, changing. So nothing changes out of the spring hearings. It's just more of like a poll on what people think about it. And off the top of my head, I think it was pretty dead even on yes and no if it should be banned or not. Typically, when there's something like that where it's kind of split, it just means that it just is kind of like, well, no one really is way favor of having it or way favor of not having it. It's kind of keep it a status quo. So I don't foresee anything really happening with that. What you might see is like the question posed in a different format in the future years, just like worded differently or described differently, potentially. So I don't really see anything changing with that, but I am not Nostradamus, so I don't know everything.
All right.
As far as the Sandhill crane season, my professional opinion is I don't know. That's such a, we have a really engaged like Sandhill like a group. I don't know the name of the group, but there's a pretty strong protectionist group that supports sandhills and all the other cranes and protecting them. So I don't know. It's always good to have groups that want to protect our animals and stuff like that. But I don't know how that attributes to changing everything through the legislature on if we actually have a season or not. Part of it is that they're regulated by the federal government too, so we probably have to get permission from them, as well as have it be supported from the state and the governors or the state legislators and different things like that. So everything's a process, especially on those two. I don't see anything changing anytime soon.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting because I've talked to a lot of people who say those sandhill cranes taste just like chicken.
Well, it's their nickname's the ribeye of the sky.
Ribeye of the sky. I know you can go to the Dakotas and harvest them. I've never actually tasted them, but I know we all see them around here. And when I used to work out in Manitowoc County, and granted this was almost a decade ago now, they were just everywhere out there. So I know we have a big population going through here. I think part of it is because we have such good habitat and we protect them and everything. So I don't know if that'll change in the future, but you never know. We have seasons on everything these days, it seems like.
Yeah. For what it's worth, when I Googled it, there was an article in the Journal Sentinel that said, because they did a poll on this, and it said fewer than 1 in 5 Wisconsinites supported a sandhill crane hunting season. So I don't know who participated in the poll or not, but that was from March.
Yeah, I saw that poll too. I think they might have posted it in the Outdoor News a couple months ago.
Yep.
And like you said, I'm not 100% sure on who they reached out to for that poll, because the people I know, it would not be 1 in 5. I can tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. So, well,
that's a pretty low number for anything.
Yeah. Well, kind of to feed off that too, where you mentioned, in the Dakotas and such, we had somebody also ask, it sounds like first time they're going to be going across state lines to do some hunting and fishing. They're wondering, if I hunt or fish out of the state or country, I know a lot of people are in Canada right now, do I need anything special, like a special tag to bring them back across the quote border?
Yeah, that one's a hard one to answer, and only because depending on what state you go to, country rules that you have to engage in when you come back to your home state, and different things like that. In Wisconsin, basically when it comes to like transporting stuff, like the big things are, if you're deer hunting, you're not supposed to move CWD. You're not supposed to move whole deer out of CWD affected counties into counties that aren't CWD affected. If you're duck hunting, you have to at least transport the duck with at least one full feather on it so it can be identified. Same with fish on some of the Great Lakes and stuff. You have to be able to provide, different elements of the skin or carcass so we can verify length and species. So there are, there's little things here and there. The main takeaway, and it's a really good question, the main takeaway, what I like to try to tell everyone is just do your due diligence on documenting everything wherever you're at. That way you can always show, whatever state, whatever law enforcement agency or DNR, what you did. So like if you hunted in Minnesota and say you harvested a deer, if you take a picture of it and it shows your date and time on it, and it shows what kind of deer it is, and then you registered in that state, and then say you even processed in that state, when you move it back across the Wisconsin state lines, I would just make sure that deer is in a box that's labeled, or the packages are labeled Minnesota deer quarters, whatever, just have everything labeled so it's like so obvious, that the newest of new game warden could look at it and be like, oh yeah, you shot or you got this fish in Canada. And the other aspect of that is, like, say you do take some fish from Canada and for whatever reason there's a game warden, looking in your freezer, it should be, you want to make it so it's very obvious, like, okay, those are my Minnesota fish, those are my Canada fish, these are my Wisconsin fish. If you label everything appropriately, to walleye Canada, June 12th, 2024, make it very obvious so there's no like questioning, like, well, is that really a Canada fish, or are you just saying that?
Mm-hmm. Would that be kind of similar? Do you know off the top of your head, like, say you got a big elk in Colorado and you're bringing it back to your local taxidermist, kind of the same stuff there?
Same stuff. I'd say that with any same species, out there, I'm pretty sure, well, actually out there is a lot of different states, so that's generalizing. So every state has its own process. Some still you have to go in and get a hard copy tag, or like a like a band like we used to have, or some of it's just electronic and you get a tag punched, or you just check it in online like we do. So everything's different, but if you just document it that way, label it accordingly, and keep your licenses with you, like you got a Canada Fish license, you got a elk tag out of Idaho, stuff like that, and you keep that stuff with you, it just helps you show the kind of helps you show where you were and differentiate different species.
Late texture. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, it's not, sometimes, I always feel bad because I'd love to give the perfect answer. Sometimes it's hard just to give that exact right answer because there's so many situations, so many species, so many states and provinces. It's just make sure you do your diligence on wherever you're at and then wherever you're going. Just kind of look through the rigs of each entity and just make sure you're doing it right.
Somebody, Jake from State Farm, with a last second text came in here and was asking if you heard about Iowa's banning trail cameras for hunting season. Have you heard anything about that?
I have not.
Okay.
Luckily or nicely, I've been off for the last 10 days up in the Boundary Waters. So my internet access has been limited, which is pretty nice.
You're lucky, man.
I know. Well, mosquitoes were lucky. I think they took half my blood. But I haven't seen that. I've heard different states do that. I've heard of different hunting organizations or competitions and stuff starting to ban different cameras for fair chase stuff. They asked about the first question about live scope, kind of comes back around, like in Wisconsin. I know we're talking about Iowa here. In Wisconsin, in my career, I've never seen the state of Wisconsin ever limit opportunity. Now, that's not saying something won't happen, but, underwater cameras for spearing, live scope, jack jaws for ice fishing, trail cameras and different things. The state has never taken a position on restricting technology or stuff like that. The fisheries department manages our species through bag limits, possession limits, and the compliance that comes with that, and the science and the numbers that come with that, not how they're caught, but how many are there. So I don't see anything around here changing much when it comes to that. But again, anything can happen. But around here, the state doesn't really restrict how you do it. Just we try to manage the numbers through science and regulation, or science and regulations and stuff like that.
All right, Bob, you got anything that you want to throw in there before?
You ever seen a 9x7 elk?
No, but
on the ranch I was on last week, they had one. It was the most unbelievable rack of horns I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
9 on one side. Unbelievable.
Sorry about that,
said,
guys.
Where'd you get it? He said, right over the hill from where we were working cattle. I said, really? Yeah, he said, and you see them in the morning all over. But that was an unbelievable rack of horns.
Where were you at?
In Montana, just outside of Billings, Montana. Sand Springs, Montana.
Oh, that sounds like a nice trip.
Yeah, they get a lot of elk. I said, would you allow hunters out? Yeah, we have hunting parties out there, and you hunt on certain sections of the ranch. So, boy, they got some big elk on that ranch.
I saw a photo on Facebook the other day about somebody posted the elk on just outside Black River. There were some nice ones in the fields out there. So,
Are there some up there already?
Yeah.
Or were they from last season?
This year, because there was just newly planted fields out there too. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Jake. Well, hey, we appreciate the time as always, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your week, man, and we'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
You got it. There you go. Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden for the great states of Wisconsin, joining us here this morning. Let's take a quick break, and then we've got some picks and predicts coming at you. Quick updates on the leaderboard. Oh no!
Oh, Tiger's missed the cut already.
He bogeyed. He's back at even.
Oh, darn it!
For crying out loud, leader's still at 2 under.
Oh boy,
it's over with now.
How far along is he in the?
He's through 7 already.
Oh, good for him.
So he's moving at a good pace.
At 7, that's not bad. Because, like they said, if there are more than 5 guys under par, and we're talking about barely under par, that'll be a lot. So anything around par is going to be good, all within striking distance, it sounds like.
I'll be curious to see, like, with how fast those greens are, the difference from morning to afternoon tee times too,
Yeah,
if there is much.
Yeah, and they're talking about little rain off and on because of those gully washers they've had through the southeast. Naples, Florida had a foot of rain the other day, and Fort Myers are just drowned, and so they're getting some of that rain in North Carolina. So if they get some rain, that'll slow things down. But,
Maybe not much, but maybe a little bit helps. So
that's right.
All right, we'll take a quick break and picks and predicts coming up after these quick words. Starting to wrap up things here for our final 10 minutes or so. Got some picks and predicts brought to you by the Elbow Room in Eau Claire, located right next to the Banbury Place. If you want to anywhere to go check out some of the games in action while enjoying a nice man cave light and hit it up and chat some sports with Garrett over there, go visit the Elbow Room right in Eau Claire. What else?
Were you surprised that Dan Hurley turned down the Lakers job?
Not really.
Yeah, I wasn't. I guess I was. I expected he'd take it, but then you think about it. He's an East Coast guy. He's got the world, on a downhill pull at Connecticut, and he seems to be able to handle what needs to be done to win a national championship as far as NIL and transfer portal and all that other stuff. So, he can always go to the pros when he wants to, and maybe he wants to coach in Philadelphia as a pro. I don't know, but I wouldn't want to coach LeBron.
No, I think right now it's almost reminding me of Billy Donovan to an extent. Remember Billy Donovan when he won a couple times? And I'd forgotten until DP, Dan Patrick, said the other day, he took the Orlando Magic job, and then like the next day or two, like they had a press conference, then he backed out and then went back to Florida.
Yep.
Obviously, we know after that he went to the Thunder, and he's with the Bulls still right now too. So I think Hurley is going to coach in the NBA. He's made it known that that's still kind of an ambition of his. But I mean,
coaching in the NBA is such a different animal when you look at the way the game is played, and the players are so empowered in that league now that it's not the old Red Auerbach Celtics type of coaching.
I think the thing is though is that the college sports has changed so much now.
Absolutely.
It's like, I threw a what if, and when this broke last week, because it's on I think it was the 20th anniversary of when the Lakers really tried to get Coach K, and Kobe really tried to recruit Coach K to come over and coach the Lakers. What if NIL and transfer portal was a thing in 2004? Would Coach K have made that jump to the Lakers?
I remember when the players started leaving early, and I'm trying to think of the big guy that he had that left early.
Elton Brand,
thank you. And he was so frustrated and disgusted and said, where is college basketball going? And when these players are leaving early, and he was very upset about it at that time. So if this would have been the time, I don't know how the time cycles would sync up. But at that time, he was expressing some real frustration about the future of college basketball. And then it didn't take him over a couple of years to realize that if you're going to win, you got to get these one and done players. And so that changed. So I don't know if they struck at the wrong time, because he was for a while there not real happy with college basketball in that move. And that's nothing compared to NIL and the transfer portal.
Right. Yeah. That's also was just announced, or reported, I should say, about 30 minutes ago, that the Lakers are interviewing JJ Redick for the head coaching job this weekend. And if he impresses, we'll move closer to that possibility. So we'll see how that works.
No idea if he's a good coach or not. He's got no track record.
He does a podcast with LeBron, so he got that connection.
Well, maybe that's enough. Evidently, if LeBron does it with him, LeBron must like him.
Yep. So, all right, let's pick a couple of baseball games. We know the Brewers have the off day today here. But we've got, let's go Atlanta at Baltimore. Who are you gonna
Baltimore.
pick? I'm gonna go Baltimore too.
I mean, Atlanta is missing Acuna Jr. and Matt Olson hasn't fired yet offensively, and Atlanta's having a struggle.
The Yankees at the Royals.
I'll take the Yankees.
I'll go with the Yankees too. How about the A's at Minnesota?
Twins. I still want to see a Twins Brewers World Series.
I'll go with the Twins too. AL Central, I think the division that's surprising the most right now.
I haven't followed it. Good, bad, or
Cleveland is in command.
Oh, really?
And then you've got the Royals, who are in second.
Season, yeah.
It was Monday when we were looking at MLB.com's power rankings. The Twins were the 10th ranked team. Twins were also third in their division, and they're 8 games behind Cleveland.
Well, they had a long losing streak there for a while that they're still trying to get out from under.
Yeah, Cleveland's 20 games over 500 right now. They're 43 and 23.
I didn't realize they were having that good a season.
21 and 8 at home so far this year too. So, Yeah, I'm going to go with the Twins over the
Boy,
A's.
if you're a Cleveland fan, you better jump on the bandwagon because that doesn't happen often in Cleveland.
No, Stephen Vogt's doing a really good job first year as a manager over there too. So I know we got Stanley Cup, but you want to make a pick for Florida or Edmonton? Game 3 tonight. Florida's up 2-0.
I was going to say Florida's up 2. Where are they at? Edmonton now?
Edmonton, yep.
Well, I go with Edmonton just on home ice.
I'm going to go Edmonton too because I picked Edmonton to win the whole thing from the beginning, so I have to. So.
Well, home ice inertia and whatever should be home cooking should help them.
I hope so. So, all right.
Who are the Cubs playing today? Are they off?
I just closed it out. Let me see if
Cubs and the Cardinals and Cincinnati all tied for second, aren't they, or close to it in the division?
Cubs have the Rays. Cubs beat the Rays yesterday 4-3. But Rays today, and then it's Cubs Cardinals for the weekend.
Oh, that ought to be fun.
Yeah.
Cardinals are coming back. Like I said, when I watched the Cardinals down in Milwaukee here a 3 weeks ago, I thought that was the worst team I've ever seen the Cardinals put on the field. I mean, it was just no competence as far as being able to hit the ball. They did not look like a major league team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the Pittsburgh teams that were bad here a few years ago, they look better than that St. Louis team, but somehow something's turned them around.
Yeah, and it's Pirates Cardinals to finish up their series today too. So
now that'll be
keep beating up on each other, boys.
Oh, that's right. Pirates go for it.
Yeah. All right. Who is your U.S. Open winner?
Boy, how do you pick against Scotty Scheffler? Yeah, I mean,
so let me ask: would you pick Scheffler over the field?
No,
it's
not. He's not in Tiger territory yet. But the way he keeps going, he might be. But you got to pick Scheffler. But again, some of these other guys, Schauffele and some of these other guys, Rory. I keep thinking, Rory, come on, man! If you're going to live up to the hype and the next greatest player since Tiger, you got to get going. It's been 10 years since he's won a major or something like that, and that's too long for a guy that's going to be talked about in the same tones as Tiger.
So right now we've got a 2-way tie for first. Is it Pavon, French golfer, is at 2 under? Brooks Koepka through 7 is now tied for first too at 2 under. So.
All right. Yep. Brooks Koepka can get up for these tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Sergio is 1 under through 8. Colin Morikawa is 1 under through 7.
And I think he'll be heard from.
Tony Finau is 1 under through 6.
And he's a guy that can hit the ball 9 miles. He can hit a 7-iron longer than I can hit 2 drives, and he can hit 1 7-iron longer than my 2 drives. So he can take advantage of this course.
Big group tied at even. That includes Tiger, Will Zalatoris, Kuchar, Ricky Fowler's even through 6. I thought there was another one I was name-wise, but not everybody's out yet. But that's kind of that's not right, is it? Can't be. Okay,
right.
No. It's like nobody's over par. Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
They just have it. Everybody who hasn't teed off yet, they have them listed as even. So that's right in the middle, big block of everything out there. So our receiver defer about Tiger and Phil, like where you asked, like Tiger's gonna make it and Phil won't. Phil is +5 through 6. He's second to last right now.
+5? Oh my goodness.
+5 through 6.
I didn't think it would be that bad.
Yeah.
But you talk about a guy. Is there a guy that you've known in sports? I mean, maybe Rogers qualifies, but that has fallen off. I mean, everybody loved Phil Mickelson, but now it's just, and there are still people that do it like him, and But I noticed the last time he was playing in the PGA, it was just courteous applause more than the real. Get behind Phil and hoot and holler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like because you're a big wrestling fan as I am, but I'm sure for maybe some people out there it'd be like when Hulk Hogan went to the evil side, Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah.
Had started wearing all black.
I was just going to bring up that.
Started wearing all black, and Phil did that too.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
But that's the only example I could think of right off the top of my head was Hulk Hogan moving to that side. The NWO. See, I listen too much to Justice and Brandon right now because they talk. That's
what they do, huh? They follow that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my kid follows it. He'll come home and he'll turn it on. I said, "What are you watching that nonsense for? oh, this is good. Hey, this is, oh, goodness.
I loved it as a kid.
Whatever you like, it's fine. It's just, it's a different world following professional wrestling. When I was a kid, I used to watch it all the time. They'd have it down in Madison. They'd have live events on Friday in the summertime, Friday night. Bobo Brazil and Art the Sailor Thomas and the Crusher and all. They even had what's his name down there one time?
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant. Thank you. He was down there, and they'd have the ring outside there, and oh boy, we had fun going to those things. I think it was about $1 to get in, and it was fun. But they didn't do all the histrionics that they do now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off in 20 seconds.
Time to go already.
Yeah. Got anything planned for Father's Day?
Well, my one kid I know is going to be home. My other kid from the Army is working his way home. Whether he'll get there or not for Father's Day, I don't know, but he'll get there eventually. That'll be good enough for me.
All right.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
You too, sir. DP and the Danettes, they're up next. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow morning, just past 6. Brandon Berg will be with us. Dr. Crow hopefully will be with us too. So we'll talk to you then, 6 a.m. See you then.